and we're getting ready for our first round right now. Um, you know Jacob pretty well, Will. What do you think? Who do you think is going to win this matchup against Jacob and Brandon?
Well, if Jacob is running what I think he's running, which is kind of a Magispector Pendulum hybrid, it's a pretty tough deck to stop. I'm not sure what Brandon's running right now. Um,
Brandon, he's running Metal Foes.
just pure Metal Foes.
He's running it with the Tecton Jalgan in the main,
Okay.
and I believe we're going to have Brandon. I believe
Yeah.
go second.
Jake. Yeah.
So
I saw the Pot of Desires in his hand, so it'll be interesting to see.
yeah, and the
What do you-
fact that he upstarted is really going to give Jacob the edge right now.
Yeah, it's really just all about digging for Sky Iris and hopefully getting to like a Bambuku or Abduct or some way to just really dig through his deck and get to his power cards.
Yeah, I mean, if once you get the established board, and I believe he's playing the Magispector build. An Ignite Reload.
That's interesting.
Revealing an Oddaz.
Okay, so he's going to draw two. Looks like Brandon has a Gofu in hand. I could have.
I believe he's got the setup to make the Tzolk'in play.
Okay.
It is just going to depend on if Jacob doesn't have anything to respond to, and he could be in real trouble. And here he goes drawing his two.
Dragon Pit, I believe, is one of the cards
And
he
a
drew.
Bambuku.
Okay, so that's pretty strong.
So we know two cards in Jacob's hand. He's going to normal the Bambuku.
Probably going for Kieran here unless he already has it, but I haven't seen it yet, so
That's in this situation, it just depends on if Jacob's got the scale too. And there's the Kieran.
So it looks like he's got 3 high scales, Brandon does, so he really needs to get to a low scale or he may be kind of...
But, I mean, as of right now, he's good for the Tzolk'in because he can just go the Gofu stealing.
That's
and
true.
I believe Jacob just played the Sky Iris.
Oof, that's pretty rough.
He played the Sky Iris, popping the Bambuku to bring out. I believe they play, or going to add the Odd Eyes. I got that confused with the Majesty's Pegasus. I believe that's 2 scales.
So yeah, there's the high scale right there.
Yeah,
I guess it's Wisdom Eye,
I believe so.
because he... I may have to adjust the camera after this round or some point.
Yeah,
So we know
we were in a kind of. I believe that's a. It's a 2 scale, so probably the.
Oath Dragon? Is it?
Yeah, it's an Oath Dragon.
There we go.
There we go. There we go. Glad they saw our troubles here. It's an Oath and a Dragon Pit.
So we know he's got a Bambuku, a Kieran, and a Wisdom he can Pendulum summon, as well as the Odd Eyes, so let's see what else he's got in his hand.
I believe I saw Ogama, and then he just added the Wisdom Eye back.
Right.
And I believe he's fixing to perform a Pendulum summon of 4, which would be really strong here. Yep.
Yeah.
And then he's going to trigger the Ogama to set probably Tempest. Tempest or Tornado. So he's going to go for Tempest.
So it looks like he's got 1 card in hand, and obviously that would be the Wisdom Eye.
Yes.
So he doesn't have any Exceed plays, but basically a strike backed up with Kieran is pretty formidable. So let's see what...
And
do the
Brand-
Eccentric. It's the perfect...
And if I was Brandon, I'd probably go ahead and use the Archfiend Eccentric and pop the back row.
Absolutely.
And I believe that's what he's fixing to do. Go ahead and pop the Tempest.
Just 1 problem card out of the way, so let's see
And
how...
now, if he goes for Gofu here,
Well, he probably wants to get the fusion out of his deck first by
Yeah.
popping the scales. Just to make sure he doesn't
I
banish
think
it.
he's going to approach this to where he can get that into extra deck using Stealing to go ahead and grab the fusion.
Yeah, because obviously he needs a scale off of Desires to really survive here. So he's setting counter.
I guess he doesn't see the potential Gofu play.
Well, he has another scale, so I guess he's probably going to try to go back in and set the fusion, because if he doesn't get good draws off these Desires, he's kind of up creek.
Well, it also using Stealing to pop. So I guess he's not wanting to take the Gofu to Tzolk'in play route, because I guess he's afraid of Kieran spinning back to Tzolk'in before he can set.
Yeah, I think he's kind of just like right now thinning his deck because, like I said, if if he just summons the Gofu and it gets bounced by Kieran, he doesn't have a follow play. So he
Yeah.
really is kind of leaning on those two draws of Desires. So he's just trying to get rid of all the cards he wants on the field, so that way they don't get banished potentially. I just realized that we need to swap that because Jacob was the one that formed the upstart, so Brandon should be up.
Yes, that's right. And then here comes the Tzolk'in, or the Desires play.
All right, let's see what he can rip.
Excuse us while we correct the life points here. And
He's looking through his banished.
the Banished Desires.
Let's see what he drew though.
An Emptiness.
and
I
painful
could.
decision.
Yes.
Oof,
So
okay,
that's going to get him his 1 scale.
He should be able to resolve it.
But you've also got to watch for Kieran too when he makes the Adamante.
Yeah.
And I mean, we saw what 2 counters face down. So-
Counter and a fusion. I
okay,
believe.
so he did grab the fusion. So here comes the painful decision play.
And I don't believe he banished Kieran off the Desires. So that is a plus. Well, of course, we'll see how long that. You know, if he doesn't really make some plays here, that probably will be irrelevant because he may not be surviving long enough to see Kieran.
Well, I guess it just depends on how Jacob plays this too. Because if he doesn't, let's say the Kieran, he may try to bring back the Bambuku. He'll leave this Kieran on board.
Yeah.
Which would be probably one of the better plays right now, but it's not looking good for Brandon.
Plus, with the Dragon Pit in his scales, if the Emptiness is activated, he can clearly just take that out.
Yeah. And also you've got to see if Brandon's going to use the Gold Driver effect to pop the Gofu token to grab the counter from the deck.
Yeah. So
So
Brandon's
he's got 2 counters and a fusion face down with an Emptiness in hand.
So Brandon's clearly just trying to wall up here and hope to live another turn.
Well, that or he could try to Pendulum Summon here.
That's true.
He's got the Eccentric that he could deal with. Really, the Odd Eyes. Or no, because the Sky Irish protects it, doesn't it?
It's only the scales, I believe.
Then
Targeting.
he can go to the scale, the Pendulum Summon hero, the Volflame, and Stealing, and I believe he brought an Archfiend Eccentric.
Yes.
He can use Archfiend to pop Odd Eyes, so that'll deal with that, which helps clear the board up just a little bit. And then here comes Fusion.
Let's see what if he tries to go for the Zul'Kim. Yeah. Looks
Yeah.
like he is going for the Zul'Kim play, which is smart.
Which he'll probably use with Stealing.
Yeah. Definitely don't want to leave that monster in attack mode.
Exactly.
It's interesting to see what Jacob does, how long if he just goes ahead and bounces the Adamante right away, or if he waits for the Zul'Kim. If Brandon's smart, he should go into battle phase to bait out the Kieran.
Yeah. Because if he goes ahead, going back to what you were saying, if he went and Brandon made the Tzolk'in, he could just use Kieran to bounce it, which would use up more resources, and it would probably leave Brandon where he couldn't grab the Adamante again, because most players are only playing 1.
Yeah.
Now, while we were talking, Brandon activated Metal Foes fusions from the graveyard to shuffle the draw, and I believe he got off of the Metal Foes fusion and Bambuku.
Fortunately, he's already pendulum summoned, but for next turn, that's a really good. I guess he did banish the Kieran.
Yeah, but if he plays this outright, next turn he could probably bring out either a Break Sword or a Totem Bird to help deal with the Sky Iris. And right here,
He is going for
he's going to go for the Tzolk'in play. If I was Jacob, I'd probably use Kieran to.
Yeah,
Yep, that's exactly what's going on.
But with that emptiness, well, he's got the Dragon Pit. About to say, at least with the emptiness, he can run over the Kieran, but.
And let's see, Brandon's going to attack Bambuku with Ogama. He's gonna take damage.
I'm not really sure what the.
The
I guess so he could.
I guess so he
what
can
other-
pendulum it back next turn and get the effect.
But what other targets does he have? If he's already. I guess search another Bambuku, but.
Yeah.
I could have sworn I saw one banished off Desires, but I could be wrong. Maybe he plays some other Magic Spectre cards we don't know about.
Maybe. That's actually going to be a really good thing.
'Cause
We didn't get deck list.
Because some people do play the Fox,
That is true.
so we'll have to see.
And I believe we're just getting life points corrected right now. So Brandon took 100,
Correct.
and
Jacob
there's
took 400.
yes.
So he flips the emptiness during standby phase,
Yep.
but it's just going to get blown away with the
Dragon Pit.
Dragon Pit.
Um,
But he really didn't have much of a choice. He kind of had to force that play there.
but with and there's the pop, which then he won't be able. I don't believe he'll be able to activate counter his
Correct.
other one because Vanity starts on a new chain.
That is correct.
Which really, I probably, if I was, I don't know, I have mixed feelings about preemptively playing Emptiness like
That's
that.
true.
Because, I mean, you
Well-
see a Dragon Pit, I would much rather him waste a Dragon Pit to pop something if he chooses to go that way.
That is true because obviously Jacob knows the one new card that's not counter.
Yeah.
So he'd probably go after it anyway, but you don't lose one of your counters in the process. Plus, you can activate both of them in response. So I agree.
and
It was probably
here comes the normal summon Bambuku for the Fox.
Yeah, for Fox.
So here comes, if I was to guess, Kieran and Fox are fixing to hit the playing field.
Yeah. You can also make a rank 4, so if he's got something like Utopia, he'll be able to get around the counter in this. Of course, with Kieran, he can just obviously bounce back to Wolfram anyway. So,
Yeah, and I believe that's going to probably be the play here.
yeah.
He could pendulum out the Kieran. I believe he's got another Bambuku. Oh no, he's going to activate Sky Iris and pop the Bambuku to Surge. I forgot Sky Iris was there. The glare kind of
Yeah,
got
exactly.
to me on that. Let's see. What
But a
he
very
ends
strong opening for Jacob. I mean, he opened the Bambuku, he opened the Skyers, which is the only thing you're missing there is Abductor, really.
up. Yeah. And a lot of players I've seen in playing pure metal foes like Brandon, they've been trying to figure a way to get through the what Jacob's playing, which is the Magispector build. I believe he's playing pure Magispectors. We haven't seen.
Well, he's playing, obviously, Magicians. But,
Yeah.
Yeah, but I haven't seen any Sorcerers or anything like that.
And here comes the Pendulum for 4.
Yeah. And obviously, he knows the set card is the counter. No
Yeah.
fear of warning or strike or anything like that.
So here comes the bounce, and then I believe he can just.
Is that enough for game?
I believe,
Yeah.
And there goes
one.
game one. As these players are side decking, we'd like to talk to you about what's coming up for us here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, at the Crimson Castle. This upcoming Saturday, the 8th of October, we will be having our regionals. We'll be located at the Bobby Miller Center, and during in between rounds, we'll be showing our regional poster along with our advertisements as well. It'll be $20 to get in to the regional. You'll get 5 packs of the Dark Illusions. A lot of fun. Tons of people going to be there. It's just a great atmosphere to be a part of.
Absolutely.
I've played there since 2009, or 2010, I'm sorry, and I've never had a bad regional there. And several of us have traveled out and played in Tennessee, Georgia, mostly in the South, and everyone says that the Crimson Castle regionals are well run. Now, for game 2, what do you think each players are going to be side decking in?
I think Galaxy Cyclone, or excuse me, Cosmic Cyclone is a very popular card. It's very good against the Metal Foes matchup because you're banishing cards, so it gets around counter. You don't have to run the risk of accidentally destroying cards like Combination. And if you get cards like Fusion, you'll be able to limit their ability to recycle it. So just all in all, it's a great card. But just in general, I think that back row removal, I'm not really sure what Floodgates could be sided because Anti-Spell's a card that could be sided Metal Foes. But
I've seen players play, and I don't know if you know about this, Full House. Full House is really good against this matchup, especially what deck Jacob's playing. If he does it right, the board Brandon had, if he had a Full House, he could have popped Brandon's Scales
absolutely.
and then just target Brandon's back row. That's another card that a lot of people are they're saying it's good, but it's kind of lackluster at times because it's not really good against anything else.
Yeah, it reminds me back of a couple formats ago when Cleafort was a very particularly strong deck.
Yep.
That was the main thing that I sided Spell Shattering in Full House, but obviously, I don't think anybody nobody's playing Gleeful here today.
No.
But the full house would definitely be a very shocking surprise if Jacob flipped it over. So we'll see.
And then on Brandon's part, he could. I think here, if I was Brandon, I would side out Jalgan. It's a good
Yes.
card, but the only problem is that Jacob has so many normal summonable monsters that it's quickly removable.
Plus, Jalgan's kicker effect to blow up all special summon monsters clearly doesn't hurt Magispectors. They're unable to be destroyed by card effects.
Exactly. And as they're getting ready for Game 2, Jacob, if y'all are tuning in, Jacob won Game 1 against Brandon. If y'all don't know, we believe Jacob's playing Magispector, Magicians, and Brandon is playing Pure Metal Foes. And as Game 2 starts,
I'd imagine Brandon would be taking first.
if
but
I
we'll
was
see.
if I was Brandon, I would, because that Tzolk'in start's just too good, and I
And
believe
there's the Cosmic Cyclone. Yep.
and I believe he opened a Desire and a Gofu.
Ooh,
Lullaby of Obedience. Oh,
That is a spicy
all
deck.
right,
So I'm guessing he's calling Bambuku?
I believe so.
That'd be probably the best card to call.
Um,
Because either way, you're going to be able to get to Kieran.
or he could just take the Kieran.
That's true. My thought process is with at least... Well, yeah, because I guess it takes that out of Jacob's deck. But the problem is, if he finds a way to deal with the Kieran, it'll go right back to Jacob's extra deck.
And Brandon will go down to 6,000 life
That is
points.
correct. Keep forgetting that a card that crazy should have a cost, but... So we're...
Now the question is going to be what does Brandon get? It could be, and we see Jacob, I believe, sided in Twin Twister. So,
Yeah.
and I believe that's a Gamma Seal.
Yep.
So Brandon goes for Bambuku. Now the question is he going to summon it or is he going to add it to hand? And I believe
Is Jacob that gets to choose, right, or is it Brandon?
it says pay 2,000 life points to declare one monster card named. Your opponent looks at their deck, reveals one of the declared monsters if there is any, and applies one of the following effects. So I believe the opponent will get to pick.
Yeah, so clearly you want to add it to hand, make him waste the normal summon.
And here comes the normal summon Bambuku.
Now, of course, you gotta be careful making sure that he gets that Bambuku back after the match,
Oh,
or after
yeah.
the game.
Well,
Yeah, they were getting...
there we go.
And Jacob's like, yeah, I definitely want that coming back to me.
Yeah. And
Interesting, he searches for another Bambuku.
I could see Brandon here trying to make Totem Bird so that
Oh, yeah.
so that Jacob can't get the
Skyers.
yeah. And also so that the raccoon doesn't go to the extra deck.
Ooh, yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's a brilliant idea.
Um,
Looks like Maxi, Gold Driver, Raccoon, Cosmic Cyclone,
and
and Volflame, possibly.
yeah, the link.
Yeah.
Yep. So here he can go into the Totem Bird play, and with a protected Cyclone. And then here comes the overlay. I believe he's gonna make the Totem Bird here.
Yeah. That'd be the smartest play. Backed up with a Cyclone.
Yeah.
That's
And there's
and
Totem
Maxi
Bird.
as well, so that's...
Oh yeah, it's
He's set up
Brandon's,
pretty well.
Brandon's looking fine right now, and that ends his turn. And Jacob draws. I believe Jacob drew an Archvenus Centric was one of the cards, and let's see what Jacob does to get out of the Totem Bird effect. That's an Oath Dragon, and that's the Odd Eyes monster, the new
It's
one.
high scale, yeah.
It's a high scale. That's more important. He's gonna get rid of it though.
But Brandon already going down to 5,000, so
Yeah.
he needs to be a little careful here. And it's not like he has the Max C, but it's not like he has a follow-up play. He has no monsters in his extra deck, so it'll be interesting.
And he normal summons the Fox. He's gonna use Fox's effect.
Searching a Tempest or a Tornado.
He'll probably go for Tornado just because
Yeah.
it's responsive, and he's gonna force Brandon to use Totem Bird's effect. Let's see.
We're about to see if Brandon's going to get any value out of that Max C. It doesn't look like he is.
Jacob just sets one and pass. Lucky break for Brandon. He
Drew Archphoenix Centric, so most likely he'll pop his high scale.
He
if
should.
he wants to bait out the Tornado, which he should.
he should probably use like you said, the Gold Driver to pop the Volflame.
Yeah.
And then put the Archvenus Centric in scale. Now, off of the Gold Driver, I would personally go after the counter. Oh, here's Ghost Ogre.
Yikes.
That's going to put a little bind.
We can still use the, well...
It's not as
it's-
effective as it was. And there's the tornado.
See, the problem is that,
Totem Bird's going to lose 300 attack, so it's going to drop to 16.
yeah. And I think, I don't know what's in Jacob's hand, obviously, but he shouldn't have to tribute her cost, I believe.
I believe the tributing is cost. I believe so. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know why that wasn't said. Fox is at what 1600 attack.
yes.
That should be a tie. I don't quite know what's
Well,
going
Fox is at, no, I'm sorry, excuse me. Fox is at 1500 attack.
on. Okay, so
But
there is difference in life.
we should, yeah. The Fox should have been.
And then Jacob puts something in scale. Well, I mean, you don't have to correct it. It's accepted game state now.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And now they're getting the Bambukus corrected. That's just something we'll have to remind them later on.
Yeah, that's true.
As it would be ruled, they would. Did he activate Audas or the Sky Iris play here?
Much.
We kind of lost because there's something in scale we just can't see at the moment. And here's
There's
the
the
chain.
Max C.
Yep. So let's see if Brandon gets some value out of it.
If I were Jacob, I would just pass.
I
Well,
don't know.
I wouldn't pendulum summon because Brandon's sitting at no cards in hand. He doesn't have a complete scale. With a 1600 monster, I'd just say let him sit on it.
I mean, the big thing too you got to think of, and I think Jacob's going to pendulum one out, which I think is smart, because you don't want to leave yourself open.
Terraforming that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I believe he's going to go after Sky Iris. I don't believe they play the Pegasus. They do play the
We
Pegasus.
stand corrected.
I was wrong. And he's going to pendulum 2. And we couldn't see what Brandon drew, but hopefully it's going to be something to counter this upcoming board. I believe Jacob may just sit on this because he's got a Tempest right here.
That is true. I did forget about the Fox, so Jacob is still getting advantage, and I
Yeah.
think it's worth the one card he gives Brandon.
And here comes Pegasus. So Pegasus will allow him to bring out Ogama, which here he could have a Tempest set and a Tornado, which is really good right now, especially while Brandon's drawing for Max C. He's he's going for Bambuku.
To tribute for Kieran. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
That is.
Plus, it lets him push for damage because he can clearly just tribute the Wisdom Eye and then attack over. Okay.
Yep. Because the next turn he could follow up with that. I was thinking of Ogama just so he could set. Yep, he normal summons the Kieran.
So Majesty's Pegasus gives him 300 extra attack, I believe.
Yes. So he will
15
take.
and 23
Yeah.
minus 16.
So let's see. Nope, that's his. So what are we looking at?
We're taking 2200.
He's taking 22.
Yes.
Okay, so he'll be at 28, not 38. All right. And Jacob sets a card and end his turn. So here, we see Brandon.
Looks like Gofu.
No, he's got. It was a Steeline.
Okay.
So with this, the Steeline, he could try to make a push here with grab and counter. Oh, that's the Odd Eyes guy. They had him in the graveyard by mistake. So from here, he's got a he's got
a Stealing and
Lullaby.
another Lullaby of Obedience.
he's seeing those lullabies, but what would he go for here?
Does he really want to go down to 800? That's kind of...
I don't know. The big thing here is what would he go get?
That's a great question.
Unless he's going to use it to get a free Volflane pop.
Does he know that Jacob plays Archphoenix Centric? Has that been revealed yet?
No, it has not been revealed.
Because Archphoenix Centric wouldn't... Well, then he could just summon it, so that really wouldn't... I keep forgetting your opponent gets to decide whether it's on the field or in your hand. Otherwise...
I mean, if he goes for Archphoenix Centric, I believe Jacob's going to do the smart play and tell him to bring it on field.
Yeah. Yes, that doesn't really make
So
that a good play.
Brandon's going to go down to 800. and we couldn't hear and really tell what was. He went for
Another
another
Bambuku.
Bambuku. Maybe he's going for a break sword.
But what would that do at this point?
And I don't.
Because on the summon, it would just get bounced back with Kieran. Jacob would just have a game.
Well, I mean, it also. Oh, Brandon still had his Kieran.
That's right, because he searched Bambuku. That's right. That's right. So he does have a full set of scales, and he can bring out a Kieran, but it's gonna fall, prey to that Tempest set.
So here,
Not really sure what.
I don't think this is gonna be good for Brandon here because if he goes stealing, pop the Volflame and try to set, unless he wants to try to make a fusion play here.
But then he would be forced to put the Kieran in his scale.
Well, no,
Guess you get rid of
he's
it.
got
Because he's got a low scale in hand and a Kieran, so if he makes a fusion, he's got to use. Well, he takes it back. It looks like.
yeah. I would this is probably be the best play I would try to make would be use the Volflame to pop the Bambuku to search out a fusion, and I'd probably fusion from here into the Oracle, the level the double piercer. But Brandon believe is he's going to go for stealing into the Pendulum Scale to pop the Volflame. Which, I mean, it's not a bad play, but there's always that difference between making a good play and making the best play.
Well, in this situation, to be perfectly honest, with Kieran and Tempest on board, given the cards Brandon has in hand, I mean,
It's not looking good.
yeah, because he can always just, Kieran the break sword, and then he has no response to the Tempest. And with such a low amount of life points, any attack is going to be fatal.
And here, I don't think... Does he still have Adamante? Oh, and here comes Max C.
Make things even worse. Yes, because the Gofu should have been. That should have been. Yeah, that was last game.
That was
he
last
made
game?
Adamante, so he
Okay.
should still have it.
Alright.
So he will get a draw off the fusion. So he's really hoping for
A low
a
scale.
low scale here.
And not to mention Brandon's under Max C.
Yeah.
So it's not looking good for Brandon, but maybe he'll draw the out here.
The desires would be pretty sweet right here.
Desires would be. So he activated Fusion, shuffling the decks. Brandon's going to draw one, and let's see what he draws.
Heart of the cards.
Gofu.
Gofu. A little too late, but that's.
Yeah, I think that's going to be it for Brandon, because all Jacob's going to have to do. Okay, so he is going to put Kieran in the scale, and then I believe he's going to pendulum out the Volflame, the Archfiend Centric. The Archfiend Centric would just be a wall. Let's see what he does here. He's gonna bring out the Volflame for sure. I believe that's it, and then here comes the Tempest.
There's no reason not to here. Yeah.
I mean, Jacob's got this secured right now because at the end of the turn he'll just Kieran bounce, and that'll be game.
Yeah.
We're just waiting for the final blow. Yep,
Yeah.
and here it comes.
Jacob's not going to throw this away at this point.
No, he clearly sees that Brandon's out of options here with a one card.
But however,
but he's okay.
yeah,
that's game.
Yeah. Because he did already use the stealing effect. I keep forgetting.
Yeah, and I mean, what he could have done really to save him a turn, he could have special summoned Gofu.
But under Maxi, he would get 2 more draws, and I think with the loaded extra deck that Jacob had, I'm not sure how much it would have mattered. But
It was an established board, anyways. I think Jacob had this pretty much after. Brandon didn't really open well with the 3/8s that he had, but the Lullaby was a good play though. We weren't expecting it, so it was a really good card, especially in the matchup like these.
they're showing what they sided out.
Oh yeah. So Jacob is 1-0, and Brandon's going to start off 0-1 at our Thursday night locals. Please stick around. We'll be right back as we get the rest of the round finished. Welcome back to round two of the Crimson Castle Locals. Um, to our left, we have Devin. He's one of our local guys that comes in along with Clay. Um, these two, they're really good players. Devin starts to play a little more unique decks compared to Clay. Clay's been playing Adulches for a long time, up until here recently, where he's been playing PK Fire. I'm not sure if that's what he's playing tonight.
I believe it is.
I mean, with our regionals coming up, I would hope they're getting ready for playing. And then Devin, I believe he's going to play Fluffles.
Yes.
All right, so I believe Clay is going to start.
Yeah, definitely Fluffles.
Yeah, definitely Fluffles. Here comes the Terratops.
Terratop. That's always a strong opening.
Good strong. Grab the Takamborg.
Mega Dante, see what you mill. Pretty standard.
Yeah, I mean, the PK Fire matchup's it's really interesting against Fluffles because one, I don't think Clay knows what they all do, and here comes the Takamborg, and obviously the Dante. Let's see what he mills. Boots.
Anti-spell and another
Other Terratops.
Oh yeah, Terratops. I believe Clay does play two Takamborgs. I could be mistaken, but I believe he does.
But now off of the boots, he's going to go for the Fog Blade.
Is he going to make a Beatrice turn one? Does he have another Burning Abyss in hand?
I couldn't tell by this, but
Yeah,
he's going to
yeah.
go for the Beatrice play here.
Clearly Devin's, you want to banish the
Dante?
with fire.
Well, unfortunately. Well, I believe one's Fog Blade. Devin's hand's a little interesting.
So no anti-spell, preemptively.
He's going to pitch King of the Swamps to go grab a polymerization from his deck. It's going to be, if Clay didn't open up anti-spell, it's going to be a little hard for Clay to know and stop what's going on.
I will say though that with Beatrice, a Fogblade, maybe a Solemn back there, and I guess another Fogblade.
Well, here comes the Bear.
Yeah. Twin Twister could also be.
Twin Twister, but for some of y'all who don't know, Bear allows you to discard him to grab to set a toy vendor, and that's what I believe both players are checking. He's going to normal summon the Fluffle Dog.
That's like Stratos, basically.
It's got the Stratos-like effect. I believe he's at the attack 17 or 1800.
Yes, 17.
And he can search out. And keep in mind, he can search for an Edge Imp. So he's going to search out Edge Imp Sabers.
So now he has fusion plays.
Yes. From here, he could go for, I think it's Tiger that allows him to pop. So he could try to go out, be a little more aggressive, depending on what the toy vendor is, because he's got Poly, Allure,
Wings, which is a great combination with Toy Vendor.
Yes, and Fright for Fusion. So here comes the fusion play. We couldn't see what he discarded, but here comes the dog. So this is about to get. It's going to be really interesting to see what Devin does from here. He pitched Wings, is what it was. So now Devin's going to probably banish 2 to use the toy, pitch the toy vendor, and draw 2. So we see him draw 1, and then we see him draw the second.
Allure, I believe.
I think that's a Dark Hole.
Yes, it is Dark
I
Hole.
remember him telling a few of us that he was main decking the Dark Holes and the Regekis.
Look, I think I caught a glimpse of Christia in the main deck. That's pretty sneaky.
Well, they're all fairies, and
That's right.
So if he can get to the Christia, that's going to be that's going to help establish the board for Devin. Put Clay in a little bind, but BA can easily get over a Christia for a turn to get their board established.
True.
Farfa's a really good card right now.
The big thing that Devin's got to be asking himself is what is in this back row. Obviously, he knows there's one Fog Blade, but what?
What else?
Yeah.
I think here he needs to bluff out the Fog Blade. We couldn't really see what Clay had. This is all speculations, but most PK Fire decks usually will play Strike and Warning and pretty much summon Negation. And Devin's going to lure here. Let's see.
Owl and Regeki.
Ooh. He's going to banish the Edge Imp. So right now, Devin's sitting on the Fright for Fusion, Polymerization, Allure, or not Allure, Dark Hole, Regeki. So it's not bad. Devin's just got a lot of plays.
He's sitting there with at least, was that 7 cards in hand, I believe?
It looks to be. Uh, 8.
Also, want to take a second. We actually have a friend of ours in the hospital watching our stream right now, so I want to give a shout out to Michael Lonis. Hope you feel better, buddy.
And if some of y'all here locally who are watching, he's also known as Michael Lamas. It's just a little inside joke with us. So hopefully he'll be attending the regionals, and hopefully he'll be feeling better, getting back to his old self again.
There's
There's the Dark Hole play. So he's going to trigger the Beatrice to, I believe he may send Scarm or Seer.
That's true.
He could send Seer, and then when that chain resolves, he can use Seer to bring back the Dante. Because Dante's also going to activate. Probably bringing back Farfa.
I couldn't tell what that was.
We'll see in just 1 second when all this resolves. So the Beatrice is gone. Graph.
Yeah, even better.
Yeah. So Dante's Chainlink 1, Graph's Chainlink 2, and Beatrice's Chainlink 3.
So Pilgrim more than likely coming out.
Yep.
Graph summoning probably Seer, yeah.
Yep. And then Farfa's bringing it back.
Yeah. Which is smart because obviously he can pitch the Farfa with the Pilgrim.
Yep. So right now, Devin's reading up on Pilgrim. And we still haven't seen the back row yet. So I wonder how Devin's going to handle the situation. He's got 2 polymerizations in hand. It's not the best because he can only use the poly 1 time because of the edge imp.
He's also got Frightful Fusion. Ugh, yeah. He's just...
Devin's not going to risk it. He's going to go ahead and Regeki the board, deal with the Pilgrim. I believe that's the Farfa. So
he's pitching that to draw a card with Pilgrim, and now Pilgrim's going to rip a card out of his hand.
yeah, which I think that's the reason why he set all of his cards. What is he going to hit? I think it's the edge imp.
Yeah.
That's not good for Devin.
Well, he does have the Frightful Fusion, so at least he can get 1 fusion out of it, but like you said...
But it's not going to be that effective, because we don't know what Clay's back row is.
Well, we know one's a fog...
One's a Fog Blade, but we're not quite sure if he's got a warning or if he's got a strike. I mean, who knows? He may have a second Fog Blade.
And the problem with that is the Seer just got back to Pilgrim, so...
Yeah, so it's... But the question is, does Clay have any... He's got 2 cards in hand, and we know one's the Farfa.
Well, he pitched it with the Dante. So it looks like he's got to draw cards. So it looks like he's got a Cloak and...
A Scarm.
Scarm?
Yeah, it's a BA monster. And here comes the Frightful Fusion. And so here, I believe... he can use King of the Swamps as an regular Fluffle monster. So he's going to bring out Tiger, I believe.
I'll probably get Fog Bladed.
Probably. Because he gets to pop 2 cards because they used him as material.
Yeah.
So here comes the
Solid
Strike.
Yeah.
Alright, so Clay's down by 15.
And then Devin's forced to pass.
Yep. Clay's gets the draw, and I believe he drew a trap. I couldn't quite tell. It was a little. It was Fog Blade, and he drew a Torrential. Huh? I'm actually surprised he's playing Torrential in the main. But I believe damage is being dealt.
So just 28 and then searching out Tour Guide.
Yeah.
More than likely.
So Devin goes down to 52.
Or Farfa.
Well,
I guess it does make sense with Pilgrim.
Yeah, he's got a live Pilgrim, and if Devin tries to bring out a problematic monster, he doesn't want to waste a back row. And Devin drew Instant Fusion.
But I'm not sure how much that's really going to help out at this point with Torrential. We know another Fog Blade down. That's probably going to get Fog Bladed.
Yeah, Fog Blade. Right now, Devin doesn't really have an out. But here comes the Instant Fusion. So we could see him bring out Norden or Thousand Eyes or even Sheep. Fright for Sheep can be brought out. But I believe here comes the second blade.
Yeah.
So he's going to overlay here.
Interesting that he would
play the Fright for Cheer Girl.
Well, not that. Interesting that he would Fogblade the Norden when he knows that Norden's going to use effects, so why not just use... If that was indeed Torrential. Why not just use the torrential on whatever Norton brings out?
That is a good question, and I think Clay may be trying to save that torrential for a last resort.
That's true. That's true.
And the fog blades just kind of he wanted to see how far Devin would go, and see now it's back to Clay, returning the fairy cheer girl, which is really interesting of Devin to play, just because it allows him to get closer to Christia. And here comes the cloak. Specialing out the silent boots, and I believe another Dante's coming.
Could be a break sword too to see if those back rows are legitimate or not.
And here comes the break sword. Clay's gonna start making his push right here.
Probably popping one of the dag. Yeah, the dag fog blades that just.
Yeah, I popped the back.
And he's
row.
gonna find out that both of those back rows are.
And I think he hit the fright for fusion, so that's not looking good for Devin. Devin needed him to hit the polymerization.
I thought he already used the fright for fusion with the swamps and the.
He did.
That's right. Yeah.
So I wonder what.
I think both of them are polymerizations.
Yes. So break sword takes down the fairy cheer girl.
That's 100.
Yes.
And then 28.
So 29 total for Devin. So I believe he'll be put at 23.
That's correct.
And then draw for turn. He drew a chain, so that helps a little bit. He's going to summon the owl, using Owl's effect. I believe he's going to make sure.
Clay's thinking a response, or no?
I think this is on Devin just to see what he wants to use Owl for, if Owl can activate. But I don't know if Devin can really come back from this.
No.
But here comes polymerization, using for Owl.
With all the traps Clay's got, I'm sure he's not too worried.
I think Clay's is holding up on a second strike, which, if that's the case, we'll be going into game 2, hands down. Let's see if Clay responds.
He can't respond with strike to the fusion summon.
That is true.
Now this could be a problem. Does Clay, are all 3 of Clay's fog blades accounted for, or is there still one?
There's still one. Because there's one in the graveyard, and there's one that's currently on the field. But with Owl, when it's used, or Edge Chain, it allows them to search for the Fright for Fusion.
Yeah.
And Sheep is an Armades that gets to be brought back.
Plus 800.
Plus
so
800.
It's like Lead Yoke.
Yeah.
Battling Boxer. So this could be kind of annoying for
Clay
to deal with, unless, of course, he's got a fog blade set, because if he has a torrential, that really doesn't do him that much good here.
Well, I believe they've gone past the step.
Yeah.
But here comes the Fright for Fusion here. So, I believe this play he may make Sabertooth. Or he could make Wolf. Not quite sure here. Fluffles are a little new to us, so we're having to learn this along with y'all. We mostly know that most of the fusions require Edge Imp cards, like Sabers and Chain. And I think Clay's learning along with us.
Yeah, because Clay's stopping to ask questions and checking.
Yeah. Here, I think he's going to banish an Owl and an Edge Imp monster to bring out. Let's see here. Yep. He's going to bring out probably. I think one of his hands shows is a Wolf, which Wolf I think is just he gets to attack multiple times. But here comes Tiger, which isn't a bad play because that's the one you saw earlier where it just pops card face down cards.
And there's the fog blade.
There's all 3 of the fog blades.
Now what's going to happen is
the tie on the break sword,
that should,
and the sheep gets brought back with plus 800.
Yeah, should he? I'm not. Would Clay be able to even activate that, because sheep does have an Armades effect?
He shouldn't be able to, because, like you said,
regardless of where sheep ends up, it should still.
Yeah, but I think Devin's just going to concede here, even though.
I'm not sure why though.
Well, Devin, I think Clay had the out for what we saw, because he had the torrential too.
But what did he have in hand? Because I want
Rubric. So he could have
Right.
he could have made the Dark Rebellion and swung over for life
Well,
point
but
damage.
he wouldn't have been able if he wouldn't have been able to summon his two Phantom Knights monsters if
True.
the sheep's effect.
Well, I guess maybe Devin just didn't quite see the possible upcoming of his next play.
I think that Devin really could have. Of course, I don't think either player really realized that. At least if I'm understanding it correctly, the whole ruling with that. But I think Devin may have scooped a little prematurely there.
Well, he may have. I think it may cost him later on down the road. If he does this beyond this match, it'll hurt him because I think you're right. He could have probably stayed around a little longer, learned a little bit more about Clay's decks, just so he's a little bit better when he comes down to siding.
Yeah.
Because I think Clay already has a general idea because he saw so much of Devin's deck.
Yeah.
But with Devin, I mean, he saw a few traps and some BA monsters. I mean, you didn't quite see twin twisters or anything like that Devin needs to be aware of.
Yeah. But generally speaking, I mean, I feel like Clay saw a lot of his back row, and that kind of was what really set him up for success because he really, I mean, obviously when you're setting up your traps, you're not gonna be able to special summon a plethora of BA monsters, but the traps are what really saw Clay through in this
Well,
last
what
game.
really helped him was the Seer bringing back the Dante's Pilgrim.
Yeah, and I think that Devin kind of overlooked that. He was thinking, oh, he'll bring back,
Like
regular
Dante.
Dante, but clearly,
Clay's a little smarter and not kind of pressured by the camera. Some players do have a tendency to have that happen to them. Um, let's see how Devin does this upcoming round. I'm rooting for Fluffles here.
yeah, it'd be interesting to see a game 3 because the last match was won in very convincing fashion.
Well, the last match, going back, if anybody who was watching the stream, Brandon he's new to the deck, so it was kind of hard for him to visualize some of the plays he had. And with Jacob, Jacob has been playing his deck for a while. He kind of knew his deck a little bit better. Both these players are really good with their respected decks. We talked to them after the game too, just to see just their inputs. And we told them their mistakes and such, so it won't happen again. But with Brandon, I felt like with him, he could have set himself up for game 3, but just the lack of experience hurt him.
And let's be honest, anytime you have to deal with Kieran from the get-go, either turn 1 or turn 2, it's tough to fight through that. But like you said, I think that Brandon, looking back, realizes some of the plays he could have made. So
And Clay gets to start off, and he sets 3 and ends his
one
turn.
of them is Vanity's Emptiness.
I
So
saw one as Vanities.
it's probably get Fog-bladed.
Yeah, I believe I saw a Fog Blade.
If I were Clay's, well,
Oh,
I guess he's not too worried. I mean, he does have the Emptiness.
to stop and then he's going to pitch Bear though.
Yeah.
That's the thing with Dog. If Dog resolves and gets a Bear, it's going to open up a lot of plays for Devin.
Did he have wings in hand?
I didn't see. I know I saw a Bear and a Dog, I believe.
I think he had a Edge Imps. Yes.
Edge Imp. He's got another Dog, and he's got, I think that's Wings in the far back.
He has Chain.
No, it's
Chain.
It was a
Ink
cat.
Sabers.
It was a cat. What I saw, which cat's not bad too. It could allow him to get to polymerization.
Ooh, Dark Hole.
Ooh,
That's going to the bottom.
yeah. No, I believe Toy Vendor just sends it to the graveyard,
Oh, okay.
and then
okay.
if it's anything else, it'll get added to the hand, or it gets sent
Right.
to the graveyard, and then if it's a Frightful monster, it'll get added to the hand, or special, I believe.
So Emptiness is nice, but Clay not really opening any way to get to a Dante, so that's never a position you really want to be in if you're playing PK Fire.
But Sheep gets special summoned because he's controlling a Frightful monster, or he gets to return one. Excuse me. Max C. So Devin is under Max C here, and I believe Devin just ends his. Or is it still Devin's turn?
Couldn't look like he was trying to pass. I think I couldn't.
We'll know here in just in 1 second. Yeah. So he's going to normal summon Livic, and I believe he's the one that when he's destroyed, he gets a special summon of level 3 Fiend from his
BA.
hand. BA from his hand.
It's effects negated, and it's got 1300 attack, which is just enough to deal with everything else, but except for the dog, which
Well, you also notice Clay set another card, so I believe he's going to warning
He
the dog.
warns the dog.
So
Interesting.
I believe it was probably for the best, because he doesn't want Devin to keep searching, um, freely searching, I should say, because Toy Vendor's still going to allow him to pitch and draw.
But Clay is not in a good position here. So we know he has the emptiness.
Oh, he's going to trick a Toy Vendor that
Wow.
got sent to the grave. That's unfortunate for Clay. Um, but I do agree, Clay didn't open as strong as he did game one.
No.
But
I'm curious to know what his other back rows are because I felt like if he had a Fog Blade, he may have
used
fogged. Yeah, as opposed to wasting the warning this early on a dog. But
But the fact that Devin's going for wings is really going to be helpful, just to open up plays and allow him to draw more. I'm
Yeah.
waiting for Devin to summon Christia.
that is true. We don't really have an idea of what cards are in his graveyard other than dog at this point.
Um,
Well, the sheep. So that's two fairies, I believe.
yes.
Okay.
He's got a dog. I think he's got two dogs. No, one dog and a sheep. And here comes the Fog Blade on the Livic.
So he's probably gonna summon a level 3, so he can make a Dante. So
Yes.
this will prevent Livic from destroying itself from its own effect.
Yep. And here comes the Ancient Cloak.
So finally able to get to a Dante.
Yep.
More than likely.
And Devin needs to read the Ancient Cloak effect. It's not often that we get PK Fire at our locals, so. And I believe,
Farfa glove. Oof.
I think Devin just pitched Artifact Lancia, which is interesting. Kind of curious, like that's really interesting to see him play that in this matchup.
Well, I guess it also helps you get another fairy engraved for Christia.
That's true.
So he does have 4, I believe, because the Ed Gems is obviously not a fairy, so he's
Yes.
at 3.
And he still has the Christia in the deck, so that's not bad. And the fact that Christia will apply to him too when he brings back a fairy. And I believe he searched out the Sanctuary. Both players are having to, or excuse me, Clay is having to read it. Both players are shuffling up.
I do believe that depending on unless Devin draws a Twin Twister or some type of way to deal with the emptiness, though, I'm not really sure what he's going to be able to do. Because a well-timed emptiness on a
there's an allure,
there's an allure, so that'll help.
but he has no darks in hand, and the preemptive emptiness.
Yeah,
But he could Toy Vendor here, Toy Vendor the wings,
that is true.
and then he gets to draw
Do you
chain.
do you agree with the preemptive emptiness here?
I honestly think it's maybe it's really just kind of the player's decision on this one because he's got a dead Fog Blade. So if
Yeah.
anything, I may would have said it until he activated something that makes me activate it. Because at that point, Devin he sees the emptiness.
So you can play around it.
Yes.
Whereas opposed if he waits until he uses the Fright Perfusion or Poly, he's making him waste a card.
Yes, because now with Toy Vendor, he can pitch the whatchamacallit.
Yeah.
Ooh, poor from Devin.
Unhelpful. Does Clay know that Devin plays Christia?
That has not been opened yet in game state.
Because I'm not really sure what other inherent summons Clay would be fearing.
Well, I mean, we do know that Devin got his hands on a copy of the Sanctuary, and Sanctuary allows him to fusion summon. So
Right.
that's probably the reason why he
Okay.
preemptively did it. But
That makes
Devin's
sense.
going to lure here.
Just digging for a board wipe more than likely.
He gets to another allure.
Well, he's going to keep drawing.
Well, here's the problem. He's out of darks in hand, so if he goes for this allure play, I believe this is going to be really bad for Devin. So
Yeah.
I think here, Devin's not necessarily dead here if he just waits this one out. Give himself another turn. Yeah, that's what he's going to do. He's going to set some cards, kind of see if Clay will take the bait on a Twin Twister.
Which would also turn off the emptiness. That would help Devin out.
Yes, but I wonder if Clay, Clay's just going to kind of leave everything there. Oh, here comes Twin Twister.
Yeah. I think he's just trying to hit the best feud, yeah.
And he hit the double fusion. So that's... And Clay draws.
So how good would Torgad be right now?
Established. And then he's going to chain the Lancia. which is understandable. He doesn't want the ancient cloaks and the silent boots get their effects. And here comes Dante's mill three. Scarm, Terror Tops, and Foolish. The Scarm's gonna be good for Clay.
Is that a Regeki in his hand? I couldn't. Or no? It is a spell, I believe.
It's a spell. We're just not quite sure. And Devin's gonna take
800 plus another. Farfa has the 1100. Is that correct?
I believe so.
Yeah.
So he's gonna take 19 as of
Yes.
right now. So he's at 61. Clay's gonna set a back row and end his turn.
So now that the emptiness is out of the way, we're gonna see.
And we're gonna see what Clay searches off of the Scarm.
Yeah, tour guide clearly.
Yep. From here, what are some outs you think Devin could draw into besides Twin Twister?
Well,
There it is.
Yeah. Do we know what the set card is?
Clay's set card? No, it was the spell card.
Right.
Um,
So this could be a pretty rough situation for Clay at this point.
but he uses Dante to grab back Seer, so maybe it's a Twin Twister in hand. Which I would think if it was Clay, he would go ahead and use it so he could bring back the Dante. But here's Devin summoning Owl. I believe Owl is going to grab back a polymerization. I'll tell you one thing: this match has not been boring.
Yeah, it hadn't been one-sided like
The last match. And here,
That's kind of what you expect as you move further through the tournament. You're not really going to have blowouts typically.
typically,
He's adding.
he's adding the
Oh,
sabers. He accidentally dropped the Lancia.
Well, he's summoning the Saber. Saber's like a plague spreader.
Yes, that's right. And so he puts a card back on the top of his deck,
So
and
now
then
he's
here
got
comes
fusion play.
polymerization. I think Clay here, he saw that his board was established, so I guess he went for the safe measure here with the Twin Twister last turn.
Well, he knew if he was going to mill with Dante, the emptiness would go either way. So, and I couldn't tell what that.
I think it was Regeki. I think you were correct on that. But I believe from here, Devin's going to OTK.
Yeah. Yeah. Because he's just going to bring out the tiger, or the wolf that can attack.
4 times
So
and
it
deal
should be a
8,000
wrap.
points of damage. Yeah, here comes Wolf. Yeah, it was a Regeki. And Wolf can attack 4 times. So from here, I believe he's just going to swing, and we'll be going into Game 3.
Yeah, there's no Battle Fader in Clay's hand, so...
It was a Seer and...
well, he does have the Fog Blade,
He does.
but I'm not really sure if that's going to matter, because Fog Blade is a once per turn
Yeah.
effect, so...
But that's still 3,000... Or not 3,000, 3 extra attacks.
So, yeah.
It's
not
gonna deal.
matter.
It's gonna deal exactly 6,000.
Well, he's also got the Owl and the Tiger as well, so that'd be what?
Yeah, but I think
What just happened?
yes, that's what happened. Clay's scooping here.
Oh, okay. It looked like he was summoning Dante, and like, what was? Did I miss something? Or?
They were checking to make sure life points were make sure that the life points were equaled up to how much damage was being dealt on board.
Yeah. Okay.
So we'll be entering a Game 3, folks.
There we go.
Again, y'all know who I'm voting for. Voting for Fluffles here.
Yeah, rooting for the underdog.
I mean, you don't. It's not every day you get to see a good Fluffle matchup against PK Fire.
And really, if you think about it, I mean, Fogblade is obviously a problem card that they have to deal with, but with Sheep and with is it Tiger that gets protection from destruction effects.
I think it's Sabretooth.
Right.
Tiger's the one that gets to pop face down
That's right.
cards.
That's right. So the Armades is a problem for PK Fire, of course, unless they have the Fogblade. But you've seen the ability that Devin has just to continuously pump out fusions when it looks like he doesn't have a play. He is siding the Christia. Let's see what he's going to put in.
Is he siding out the Christia?
It looked like it, yes.
Okay. I think Devin. I think if I was Devin, if he had Twin Twisters, I'd probably side them in just to help get through Vanity's Emptiness, because it didn't look like for a while he could. I didn't see anything in his main deck that could get through Vanity's Emptiness if Clay would have kept his board.
You know, if I'm Clay, since I have option, I may let Devin go first here.
I agree.
I'd be tempted. I'm not sure. Like I said, obviously it depends on what Clay's siding. If he sides in Maxis and hand traps, I think just let Devin make his plays, which with one less card, we'll see how explosive they can be. But PK Fire is a deck that can OTK as well as they like to, they like establish their board with Dante and Fogblades. Don't forget, Terror Top and Tour Guide. You can put a lot of damage on board with Farfa too. So
Well, not to mention too, Devin's deck, Fluffles, the way he's got it built is for OTKs. So the only thing that you really have to worry about with Devin, and this is what I've seen, he plays 1-for-1 in Glow Up Bulb to make Manchuria Beast.
but that wouldn't be
it's
too
not- it's-
devastating against Clay's
No,
deck.
no. But Devin, I don't know. I think if Clay has his anti spells, I think he probably, if he kept him in,
That is true.
he probably wanted to go first
That is
here.
true.
And Clay does choose to go first.
And of course, if you open Terror Top, it kind of invalidates everything I've just been saying. So
Well, it's just a good card. He's going to search out the tackle board, and here comes a Dante, if I had to imagine. But Devin does have has a Lancia in hand, so this is going to be. We'll see how this one goes from here. And here comes the tackle board. Overlay here into, I believe Dante's coming. Yep.
yeah.
Milling 3. Strike, Farfa, and Twin Twister. That was a really good hit for Devin.
Yeah.
Not enough good BA monsters.
Oh
ooh.
wow! And there's a tour guide. What was I just
Ooh.
saying about OTKs? Now he's just gonna set up a board, but with the Lancia, he's not gonna be able to load up on Fog Blades, so that is a plus.
And also the fact that Clay at the end phase is going to get a search off of the Scarm. It's going to be really.
Is
good.
he gonna be able to make Beatrice?
I think
He
he's gonna,
should be able to.
He's
but
gonna push for it. If I had to guess.
It also would be interesting to see
And
what.
here comes the
Oof, you never want to mill another Scarm though, especially when you only decide to mill one.
yeah. And here comes
Allure.
Allure.
Boots and a Foolish.
I believe
looks
so.
like. So it's just
Pitching the silent. Pitching the boots. Here comes Foolish. So I wonder if he's going to go grab Seer off of this or Graph.
probably like I said, it depends on what else he has in hand. But if he summons,
I was making the assumption of not knowing what was in his hand too.
if he can make a Beatrice, then
He pitches another Silent Boots.
Yeah.
He's going to go ahead and try to
And-
get the Fog Blades.
and then Devin misses out on the Lancia here. I think he kind of
I don't know what Devin. Ooh, he's got two
yeah.
Lancias in
I
hand.
think that Clay was going really fast, and I think Devin should have stopped and said, "Hey, hold on a second, because with a Fog Blade and a Beatrice, that's
And here
gonna be
comes
a problem.
the Beatrice here.
Does he have two Fog?
Yeah, two Fog Blades. No, that's a silent gloves and the sword, Fog Blade.
Yeah.
So I believe he's just going to set one, which it could have been a lot worse for Devin.
So, obviously, depending on what he draws, it may be irrelevant. But having to deal with that, not having to deal with that Fog Blade would have been nice.
So I believe
He pitched Graph to summon.
Barbar.
Well, he pitched Graph to summon the Beatrice. So, wow, he opened Graph, Tour Guide, and Terror. Well, he could have drawn it off the Allure of the Graph, but that's still pretty darn good. And he's just going ahead and
Using
just
Barbar.
might as well since he's got a Scarm.
So 600.
Yes. Is he thinking about it? No, just the two.
So it'll drop him down to 74.
Correct.
And
He will get a search during the end phase. Let's see if he remembers. I don't think he did.
I don't think so.
Of course, Clay's probably thinking, well, I'm not sure if it matters now because if all Devin's going to do is pass, then
Devin didn't open up well.
no.
Devin didn't have a
Is it a
strong hand
cloak?
from the start. That is a cloak, yes. But the Devin didn't open up as strong as he would like to. With the double Lancias in hand. And Devin just passes. And Clay drew a Max C. And he's gonna, I believe he just pitched the Lancia.
Yeah. Because also, like I said, not that it's super relevant, but he would be able to prevent the 600 damage done by Barbar.
Yeah, and that could help him when it's going into time.
Which I think we're getting fairly close to.
I'm not quite sure. I didn't keep track of time this round. Well, I just couldn't keep up with both.
Yeah. That's...
And that was a...
So Clay's mills have not been that great, but
except
Devin,
for the Fog Blade. Fog Blade's going to help him.
yeah, that's right. He does have the gloves, but
And then here comes Wings, which Wings will help him. And then he took, how much?
25 for
25. So it's going to put him at 49. Devin opens with the Owl. So that's not bad for him because I believe he's going to be able to.
And there's the fog blade though. And see, that's where if Devin had just remembered to Lancia, we could be talking about a whole different ballgame at this point.
Well,
Because he would have had 2 turns of Lancia, so he wouldn't have had to deal with that fog blade.
Oh wow! Why didn't he? When he activates the allure, he should have activated Lancia.
I think he did.
Well, I mean, that means Clay would have had to pitch his hand.
Is that I thought the ruling had been changed that if you have a dark, you can reveal it. And
Maybe.
I have to look that up. I'm
Yeah.
not going to swear by that ruling.
Maybe. I've heard the same thing, but I've also heard that since Lancia, you can't banish, and Allure doesn't banish for cost. So with that, I would believe you would have to send your hand, because it's just like Ref Panel. And that's one of those weird rulings where if your opponent allures, your opponent would have to send from their hand to the grave, and your opponent would get the draw.
On that one. But at the end of the day, I'm not sure how much it really matters.
No, because Clay right here is finishing this up with summoning the gloves, bringing out Cloak, breaking a break sword, and believe attacking for game here.
That's 2020. Yeah, that's 45 just with the Beatrice and the break sword. And,
yeah, and that's our match. Clay takes this one. I believe he is going to be 2-0, and I think Devin's going to start off 1-1, which isn't bad for Fluffles going up against PK. I actually thought, like we talked about before, if Devin would have Lancia'd turn 1, I believe,
yes,
he would be in a little better position.
He would have prevented the fog blade, and I'm not saying it would have been enough to pull him over the top, but we've seen how Fluffles can make plays just seem out of nowhere. So it would have been interesting to see, but nevertheless, stay tuned for round 3.
right, welcome back to Crimson Castle. We will be starting round three. Both of these players are undefeated, 2-0. We've already seen Jacob tonight. He is playing the Magic Spectre Odd Eyes deck.
Yeah, with magicians, just a bunch of pendulum cards just thrown in there.
Now, Oscar, we call him Ozzy here, but we're going by his official name. Ozzy, he's been playing a little bit of everything here lately. We've seen him. Last time he was on stream, he was playing Hieratic BA with a mixture of the Destiny Hero engine, which is really creative because I haven't seen anything like it. So hopefully, he may bring that back again tonight, or he may play something else. I think Jacob won the dice roll. Both players are shuffling up, getting ready for the round three.
So let's see. In the first round, Jacob was able to establish some pretty impressive boards. So already opening up with Kieran, so that's a good start.
And I believe he opened to Desires.
Yeah, and a reload too. Well, but that doesn't combo well because if he reloads, he won't be able to activate the Desires. So
yes, but here I believe, yep, Ignite Reload. He's going to send back the Dragon Pit.
So the best he has this Pegasus, I believe. So the best case scenario for him to be, or the best case scenario would be to probably drop Mbuku off of this,
Which that would be a good draw.
because he'd be able to get a surge, then trigger the Pegasus.
Yes. I think he drew Ogama and another spell.
I think is that a second Pegasus or
it's
Upstart, which is unfortunately dead.
Yeah. And then from here, he's going to summon Ogama and use the effect. I believe he's going to set the Tempest here. Or,
Yeah,
like we've been discussing, anytime I say one thing, it could be another. So
Tornado. Well, yeah, that's
I think-
if he knows he's playing Burning Abyss, that is the correct, or
But-
some type of Burning Abyss Fairy is the correct play.
But I don't know if he knows. Jacob has been kind of finishing a little later in the rounds compared to Ozzy, who's been finishing up somewhat quick. And I believe there goes the Pegasus.
Yeah. More than likely to bring up Mbuku here.
Yeah. I mean, I think if he just had
Well, I did spot a Joker.
the Skullcrobat.
Yeah. Well, again, that's not surprising since the Magician. So
Yeah.
for some reason, when I said Joker, I was thinking Sorcerer. I was like, wow, he's playing Perform Powers in there too. But
I mean, he's playing some. No, my mistake. He's not. That was a Phoenix. Excuse me. I thought I so happened to run across a Unicorn in there as well. But off the Bambuku, he's going to search the Fox.
well, I imagine if he's playing the Skyers, he more than likely could be playing the Odd Eyes Unicorn for a high skill.
All right. So now that ends his turn, and so from here we're going to figure out what Ozzy's playing. Here comes
tour
Tour
guide.
Guide. So far it looks like he's playing he is playing it. He's playing the BA Hieratic deck.
So if you're Jacob, I mean, obviously he probably just thinks it's vanilla BA at this point. But what would be the best opportune moment to Tempest or to Tornado here? It would be tempting to hit the graph right now because assuming he's playing BA, which Jacob doesn't know that he's playing a hybrid.
Yes.
Leaving the tour guide on board, already using his normal summon, and banishing the one of graph would be pretty strong here.
It would be. And I think that's probably your best play here. But Jacob, I don't believe he knows what Ozzy's exactly playing. So it's going to be kind of hard for him to determine whether to Tornado here. And I think he's going to let it go through. So from here, he's going to make a Dante.
I feel like the problem with that is that now the graph is going to trigger.
Yes. And,
So
and I believe, the graph's going to trigger. The Dante's banished.
yeah. See, I believe that the banishing the graph was the correct play because he has a tour guide on board, but assuming he's playing PK Fire, which Jacob would assume at this point, you can't really do much if I'm already use your normal summon. No way really to mill.
But
And
he is
then now
gonna
he's
be
being able to
special.
continue his plays. And that Seer still has its effect, so it's summon back the graph, so that's going to be pretty strong.
Yes, and not to mention the second Dante play is going to be really helpful too.
Well, wait a minute, did he
He did-
summoned the...
He didn't detach Seer.
Huh.
Not. I guess that it's a little bit of a misplay here. Simply the play we were thinking is if he had Seer, he could bring back the graph.
Yeah, just to make sure Does he have emptiness? Or no, that's
That's a hieratic monster.
right. Sorry, for some reason the glare made it look like a trap
Yeah.
card. But
So
taking 25 early. He mills the Soul Charge, so Jacob's probably thinking, okay, it's not common that Burning Abyss decks would run Soul Charge, so he may be kind of alerted that something's a little off here if he hadn't.
well, and
There
I
goes
believe
Beatrice.
Ozzy's going to make he's going to make Beatrice.
But is that all 3 Farfas in graveyard?
I thought I saw 2.
Well, he detached.
We'll see. Yep,
Yeah.
that's all 3 Farfas.
So that's not.
But he's got Seer and Dante, so it's not
That is
like,
true.
He just got them all located and
Oh,
hit Pendulum
wow.
Call.
That's pretty darn good.
But from here, I believe he's going to upstart. So
Drew the Dragon Pit off of the upstart.
and see, and Jacob's not really in a bad position right here. With the Ozzy not opening up that much back row, it kind of hurts him here because from here he can Pendulum Call, grab the scales he needs. The Desire.
Because I feel like the only two. Yeah, he was talking about the fact that he couldn't
play
use
him
the
last turn.
last turn.
And so here comes
I think
the,
Oscar's very
Bandit.
thankful for that, because otherwise I'm not sure how far he would have gotten with dealing with a Kieran and a Fox.
Yeah. And we're
So,
checking. So
some
2 Sky Irises, 2
Terraformings.
I believe I saw 2 Phoenixes. The Odd Eyes monster.
Definitely one. He drew a Joker and
I couldn't quite tell, but it looked to be a Pendulum monster.
Yeah.
Archfiend Eccentric. Skull
okay.
Crobat.
So
Archfiend.
he has scale. Well, no, he has high skills. He doesn't really want to use Kieran or Fox, isn't it?
I mean, he could use Fox if he just had to, but you also got to think Bambuku's coming back, so he could search out another Fox.
And also using Majesty's Pegasus too.
yes.
So. Or no,
I forgot
because he has
Pendulum.
wisdom. Because he has Wisdom
Wisdom
Eye
Eye
and
and
Oath. Yeah, he has the second Dragon Pit. Okay, that's
Yep.
what I was wondering if he banished that off the Desires or not.
And see here, I think Jacob's in a really good position.
Absolutely.
Um,
Because not only does Oscar have to deal with Kieran, he has to deal with a Fox. He has to deal with just a plethora, a Joker as well for more searching. So
here comes the normal summon of Skull Crobat Joker. Yes.
Odd Eyes. So he's going to have to deal with the 2500 Beat Stick. This is looking pretty good for Jacob.
But let's not forget too, Ozzy does have the Beatrice on board,
True, but
no
he
Farfas.
can't send Farfa.
And it's going to be hard for him to use it if he brings out whatchamacallit. If he brings out the Magic Spectre monsters, and here comes the Oath and the Dragon Pit and the Pendulum Scales.
It should be Pendulum something 5 or 4 here.
I would probably bring out Kieran, the Fox. Yeah, that's in Ogama and Odd
And
Eyes.
the Odd Eyes.
Yep. So he's going to trigger 2 effects. And I believe he's going to search a Tempest and a Tornado, which is going to really put Jacob in a strong position to really just lock this game 1 up.
Do we know how many Magic Spectre traps Jacob is running? Obviously, we know he's running one of each, but is he playing
I want to say he was playing
2 Tornado, 1 Tempest, or?
yes, but Beatrice is activating the effect, and
What would you send here if you're Oscar?
I don't quite know. All of his Farfas are gone, so that takes that out of the equation. I think he's going to try to send.
Was it a Fabled?
Yeah, that's Fabled Raven.
Which one? That what does that do again?
Um,
That's the one that
no,
This-
no, that's something else. It's a Fabled monster.
yeah.
Um,
So he did that in response to Kieran's effect. So now
Correct.
now Seer will trigger, more than likely summoning Dante? Well, no. He could summon Farfa, but I'm not really sure how much good that does him. Because if he just attacks over it with the dragon, none of his that's the correct play, because none of his Magic Spectres can be targeted, so.
I'm trying to see which Fabled monster that is. I believe it's.
Did Jacob forget to search, or did we miss that?
I think we may have missed it.
I don't think he searched because he summoned the Toad and he may have banished his targets. That could have been what happened. So now he has a rank 4 play going for the Castell to out the Dante.
All right, and just for clarification, the Fable monster we're talking about is Sulcius. It's a super rare out of the Battle Pack 2 and other sets as well. His ability is you can send 2 cards except the monster, of course, from your hand to the graveyard, special summon it from the graveyard.
Okay.
So I guess it really helps to do to get his BA monsters and his Hieratic monsters to activate.
And Oscars took a load of
Loaded.
damage there, so
So,
that'd be
for-
2, 4, 6, 6,500?
Yep, it's going to put him at 25.
Correct.
And
So advantage goes to Jacob, so he is
He's
using
get-
that
he's-
fabled effect immediately.
yeah, to help.
Did we see what he
load-
pitched? Or is it?
I think malicious is one.
Oof.
And seer, malicious and seer
So the Farfa will trigger banishing.
on us. Which
So
is
now, if Kieran wants to use his effect, he will have to return himself. So that's a smart play.
yes.
So malicious
and then he's
now.
going to pitch the malicious to bring out a malicious.
So it's a
And some
rank
of the-
6 play, I believe.
Yes, and that's something really interesting here, because I can't remember which rank 6 Ozzy plays. I think,
I'm sure he plays the Utopia Beyond that makes them all 0.
yep.
Oh, Beatrice. Wait, how did?
Beatrice got returned by Kieran.
That's right. That had a brain
So
fart there.
that
for a
actually could really help Ozzy.
second. And of course, now that since Beatrice is summoned properly, he can use its effect immediately this turn.
Yes.
So he can load up his graveyard for more plays.
And I
He
kind
could
of,
detach the malicious maybe to send. Do we know if that fabled card is once per turn?
I can check while I still got it up. It is not.
So he could pitch the Mally to get a summon off of that, as well as send maybe a Skarm or something.
I don't know how many BA monsters he's got left. I think the deck's now going to start revolving around
Plague
Ooh.
Spreader. Wow, that's so he's going to have a
He-
level 8 Synchro play here.
And here, what would you make here? A level 8 that can deal with Kieran.
Well, Kieran has already used its effect, so that is good. Depending on what else he has not normal summoned at all, so we're not really sure. That's a good question.
So Plague here is going to return a card to special one. And I believe he's also got the malicious play. So he's got the 8.
Yeah,
it was in his hand.
He stacked the Mally, yeah.
So here he can sink in for a level 8. I just don't quite know what the level 8 he would bring out here. That would help establish Kieran.
Beals.
Beals.
Oh, that could be a problem.
That's forgot that card existed for
Yeah.
a minute.
Of course, I mean,
It's a
it's
good
still.
card.
The problem is Kieran is just such a devastating card. I mean, he can deal with it, but unless he has a way to disrupt those scales. But he also used Pendulum Call, so they can be destroyed. Correct?
Yes,
this
that is for this turn. The scales cannot be destroyed.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how he's gonna be able to stop that Kieran from coming back out. He already used Kieran.
I don't know. That was the following turn, I believe.
Correct.
And I don't believe Beals can be targeted.
It can't be destroyed. I know,
Destroyed.
but
Okay.
I think it can be targeted. Yes, because I remember in the old days we'd have to use 101 to suck it back up. But that's right. So yeah,
So he's going to return the Beatrice instead.
yeah. And then Beals will get in 1,000 damage over the Castell.
That is correct.
So I'm not sure. A good turn by Oscar, but once again, just the fact that Kieran's going to be able to come right back out, it's going to be kind of a problem unless he's got some kind of summon negation. But yeah, it doesn't look like it.
And then he tributes it for the Hieratic monster.
Ah,
So from here, he's going to be able to pursue a little bit further and maybe establish a better board before Kieran returns.
yeah. Don't forget that Odd Eyes Dragon will be coming back too because of Farfa.
Yes.
So that's another monster that he'll have to account for.
But maybe Ozzy's got something in store that can make it to where
That
the
is
Odd
true.
Eyes doesn't come back.
That is true.
He's going to pitch that to target the Pegasus, which is about the only thing he can hit at the moment. I wonder if he's going to bring out the Watt Dragon or Labrite.
Yeah, Watt Dragon.
Some of y'all who don't remember, Hieratics was a deck back 2012, 2013. It's been a long time. Seen a lot of play, and I guess Ozzy really wanted to splash it in just to see if he can just make a better build of his deck. I think here he's going to make the rank 6.
You gonna go back into Beatrice?
I wonder if he's going to go back into Beatrice or
Atum, or-
Atum. But the only problem is with the Atum, what is he going to bring out?
Yeah.
So he's going to bring out Beatrice.
Yeah, that's the problem is what is that Beatrice going to really do to help get him out of the situation? Because
I
at
do-
2,500 life points, I mean, you got to think that if he can't build up a bigger board, all he's got to do is just bounce with Kieran and attack with the dragon for game.
yes, which I think Ozzy pitched the Watt Dragon, so he's gonna send the Skarm for the end
search.
phase.
Yeah.
And then I believe he proceeded to the end phase.
He's already used Tour Guide, so he's going to search Barbar. Okay.
So I wonder if Ozzy plays a Libic that allows him to pitch it to bring out a Barbar to help protect his life points.
He might. I imagine, well, if you think about it, if you're playing non-BA monsters, a lot of them, like with the Heretics and the Fabled, you'd imagine you'd probably play Libic because it would help protect your life points, like you said.
Yeah,
with all the
and
non-BA monsters.
the Odd Eyes monster returns to the field.
Drew Magical Abductor for turn, I believe.
Yes. I'm
So-
not quite sure here if Jacob really has to make even a big play.
I don't think so
This
either.
Pendulum Summon really should secure it, but
Yeah.
we could be wrong.
Do we know if Oscar plays any kind of Swift Scarecrow, Battle Fade, or any sort of cards like that to prevent himself from dying?
I do not know. But we'll first see what Ozzy does with the Beatrice.
Yeah.
Using his
That's true.
effect.
He gets in something like Electromagnetic Turtle, or
And he sends a Max C. Okay,
Yeah,
so
he's just scooping
he's
at this
scooping
point.
from here.
because that did cross my mind for a second. But wait a minute, there's cards like Necro Gardener or Electromagnetic Turtle that could prevent an attack. But
Yeah.
Oscar just scooping it up. here.
Or if you're at what was it, Nationals or Worlds this year, the Electromagnetic Turtle ended the battle phase.
Yeah, exactly. So that crossed my mind for a second. I was thinking along the lines of, okay, Battle Faders, those types of cards, but nothing too crazy. So if you're Jacob, what do you side in against all this crazy shenanigans that's going on here? Probably Max C's if you got them.
Max C for sure if you have him. If he has anything to get rid of the monsters on board, like Regeki, that may be helpful if he hasn't already main deck it.
Because you imagine Oscar's going to want to go first with his build.
I think he would. When Ozzy was going through his extra deck, I saw a Crystal Wing. So I think he really wants to try to get that on board to help make
Yeah.
his board a little more solid than last game.
And I can see Jacob siding out some of his traps, which is smart because if he probably anticipates he'll be going second, so you don't want to draw too many of those trap cards in the opening, especially if you're having to deal with an established board where those really wouldn't do all that much.
Yeah.
Ignite Reload, I think that's what card came out.
I believe so.
Yeah, it's hard to fault Jacob for that because that's kind of what slowed him down at the outset, even though it turned out okay for him.
Because off of that he had the Upstart and the
Yeah.
Desires.
Speaking of which, he sided out two MSTs, the Upstart, the Archfiend, and it looked like a trap.
Yes.
Saw that correctly.
We couldn't quite tell with Ozzy just the way the camera's positioned.
Yeah.
But hopefully, and Ozzy does have the Regeki, and I think he's taking out the Allures here, from what I can tell. Maybe a few Searchers here and there.
Yeah, so if you're Ozzy, what in turn do you set something like anti-spell fragrance? What would you...
Well, here's the thing that I see. If I was Ozzy, I'd probably side in strikes if
Yeah.
he has them. Anything to really stop Kieran from hitting the board
Yeah.
or stopping a mass pendulum summon. Because once Kieran gets established, it's just hard to
'Cause
overcome it.
we've seen Jacob play in 3 games, and in clearly every single, he's won all 3, and Kieran has played a massive role in that. And so
Yes.
you have to figure that's got to be Oscar's worst nightmares. How do I prevent Kieran from coming off the board? So I agree with you. I think that the Solemn cards and then the anti-spell fragrance or something along those lines to just make sure that he can't mask those pendulum summons would be helpful.
Well, the big thing with Ozzy, like I was thinking about, with him playing anti-spell, it could hurt him more. Because a lot of the stuff that he has, like the hieratic seals, the spell searcher,
That is true.
it could hurt him. And I don't know if he is actually going to side out all the allures. He may keep one in,
Yeah.
just so that he, out of sheer luck, he could draw into it.
Mhm.
But hopefully Jacob won't be the only guy on stream tonight to 2-0 his opponent. Hopefully we'll see a game 3 out of Ozzy. It also makes me want to think too, what would have been the best play for Ozzy with that hand that he had last turn if he would have went first? Because you notice that he milled the Soul Charge, which I think that really set Jacob off to realize, hey, I'm not going up against regular BA.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he opened Tour Guide, so that's definitely a card you want to open. But he really, Had Oscar gone first though, I mean, because with 6 cards, really the best he could muster was just one Dante.
well, if he would have pitched the Seer, when
That
he
is
milled,
true. So I don't know the exact contents of his hand, but I'm not really sure how much it would have mattered. Um, it, I mean, hindsight's 2020, but I'm not sure how much it would have mattered because, like I said, Oscar didn't really have.
So
that.
did Jacob pass turn?
I think so because Oscar clearly just drew.
Yeah, and he reveals Farfa, and then
So Jacob has the max.
here comes the Maxi.
But does Jacob really have anything? I mean, obviously Oscar doesn't want to give him a bunch of cards for no reason, but
I think here what he's going to do
drew into a
is
kaiju. Jacob did.
he did.
Yeah.
I think Ozzy drew into one too. There's a
Jacob
Gamma Seal
also
in hand.
drew a Flying Sea.
Ooh.
So Flying Sea, Max Sea.
Flying Sea Maxi.
That is brutal.
And then Scarm's going to get the search at the end phase.
But yeah, and he used Farfa's effect special, so he will not be able to banish the Flying Sea this turn.
Yep.
Oof. But with the Hieratics, that's not too big of an issue to deal with Flying Sea. But once again, if Kieran hits the board and is able to bounce back that Flying Sea, that could be pretty devastating. So
I think it could be game changing here. With if he gets to a Kieran, he could just bounce back the Flying Sea,
Yeah.
and he could just manipulate
he
game
has a
state here.
Fox,
A
an
Fox,
Archfiend, an
a
Oath Dragon, a Gameciel, no.
and a Sticky Strings.
I can't. Yeah, that's
It wasn't Gamma Seal.
use
A
Kamungas,
lot of the
yeah.
players now are switching over to Sticky Strings, which is the level 7 Kaiju.
Yeah,
Is-
to prevent Blue Eyes.
to prevent Blue Eyes.
Is that a Wisdom Eye? That'd be a pretty clutch top deck if that's what that was.
It's a Fox for
Well,
sure.
Yeah, he had the Fox in hand.
I think he's gonna go for Tornado here.
Yeah.
I don't know if he sided out a whatchamacallit, a Tempest, but the Tornado play seems to be really effective. And that's just a card in general that's just good if you're playing pure Magic Specters or if you're playing the Magician build of Magic Specters. So,
Yeah, I think that was a Wisdom Eye in his hand.
yep. And here comes Oath, and yep, it was a Wisdom Eye.
So that's pretty strong for
So I
Jacob.
wonder.
And there's another Maxi, so
So now you're going to determine if Jacob really wants to really pursue this forward.
he may feel obviously he's going to Pendulum Summon. He's going to give him the one draw, but he may feel comfortable with the Flying Sea. He can say, okay, well, if I give him 1 or 2 cards, what's the worst that he could do? But, Jacob's seen some shenanigans, so he probably thinks, okay, well, he has a way to deal with the Flying Sea. With cards like Plague Spreader, he can Synchro with it. So it'll be interesting.
Well, I think
See
this
what
play
Jacob
would have
does.
been a lot stronger if he had the Kieran.
Yes.
Ooh, the Magician.
So that'll be able to get a Light Monsters effect
I
during
believe
each
so.
player's turn?
Yes.
So that is strong.
I believe he sided into that, which is and here comes the seal. So he's going to search for the hieratic monster. He's going to go after Sue.
Yeah, Sue.
Um,
So, but of course, with that Jiangxi Magician, that'll be able to negate
yes.
those Hieratic Monsters effects, which will be helpful.
But he can also get rid of the Flying Sea, and
True.
then if he burns the effect, he can just make a rank 3 play from here. But it really simply just depends on
How Jacob plays the Tornado.
Yes, that's going to be really crucial here. If Ozzy,
Do we know what else is in Ozzy's hand besides that Sue?
what
did he search? He searched the tour guide
He
off
searched
of
the
the
tour guide. He's got a
star.
Gamma Seal in hand as well. So really, he could Gamma Seal the Magician,
I think that's what he's thinking about. Yeah.
but it would just come right back.
Well, yeah. He's
He's going to do it on the Fox.
to
That's
make
actually
sure that he can't. Yeah, Tornado,
Yes,
and then normal summon. Yeah.
sweet. And then he could just battle Faye. I don't know. I don't remember the.
I think it's unsummoned, so he may be trying to bait out the Jiangxi Magician.
He's going to let it go through.
Huh.
And then from here, he's going to get to special.
Did I
out
miss
the-
something? I feel like
Black
Jacob
Dragon.
really should have, especially because I believe discarding is a cost.
I think so.
So I think he, like I said, unless I'm missing something,
Let me.
does he have to have? Well, no, he had 2 magicians. I'm not sure about that.
We're currently looking up the card text for the Magician.
'Cause I know it does. I know it negates light monsters' effects.
Once returned during the other player's turn, you can target 1 light monster on the field, negate the face-up effects, and the end of the. And
till the end of the turn.
Yeah, until the end of the turn. So we're not quite sure. But
Maybe he's thinking, well, I want to save it for the Beatrice, but
maybe. I guess he doesn't see the initial threat, considering Sui or Sue
Sue.
is a little higher, or a little less than attack compared to the magician.
that is unfortunate having to banish the tour guide off the allure.
And I believe, he's gonna.
Synchro? Oh yeah, for
Oh.
Zolkin. Oh,
Oh man.
and Jacob is kicking himself right now.
Yeah, because right here he can make Crystal Wing.
Yeah. Oh, Jacob's just thinking, man, I should have negated that.
He's
But
but
behind, like we were just mentioning, Jacob probably didn't see the threat of where that play could have gone because
yes,
he's
because he
thinking,
could have
okay,
made a ranks. He could have made Beatrice.
or beyond, or those are all
and-
light monsters. So if that's Jacob's line of thinking, he was correct in thinking, oh, well, I'll save it for the Beatrice. But if he would have been able to have a little foresight, maybe knowing a little bit more of what the hieratic cards could do, thinking a little bit bigger picture, he probably would have chosen to negate that.
See here, it's really interesting because, yes, Ozzy got rid of the scale, but if he sets and brings out a Crystal Wing, and he would have to, because Crystal Wing's a light, and the magician could negate the effect to gain the attack. Ooh,
Soul charge. And you see Jacob's reaction. He's like, all right, this is it's gonna get pretty big.
I think he's gonna soul charge for 2, maybe.
Well,
2?
definitely at least 2, just to make it at the rank 6.
So there's 1, and there's 2.
Yeah, obviously he's not going to
He's not
bring
gonna
back
wa-
his Burning Abyss sponsors. That would be sort of pointless at this point.
Yes, but he is going to go ahead and pop his scale, so that's really going to put Ozzy in a good position. And then he's going to bring it right back out, so that's really going to be helpful. And
Is he making another Zolkin?
there's 2.
Wow. And if I remember correctly, if he sets one card, both Zolkins will trigger, so he
Yeah,
could
so
bring out
here-
a Crystal Wing and a Void Ogre, potentially?
I think Ozzy's got too many cards to.
Okay. That's right, he does have one more card in hand.
So he's going to bring out Crystal Wing for sure.
Ignister, maybe? Or
I could
I'm not-
see him bringing out Ignister.
Scrap Dragon, Stardust?
I think Stardust Spark may be the better
That's
play.
true. Of
But
course,
he could bring out Void Ogre. That's also a really strong play as well.
trying to decipher what. Let's see what he's got in his hand. Or is in his extra deck, excuse me.
I can't tell by the Ghost card. I think
I think it's got.
Clearwing? I think it's Clearwing. So he brought
Okay.
out Crystal Wing Clear. And then from here.
Or no, he's changing his-
he's thinking about it.
Beals,
Beals.
right. Oh, that's going to be pretty tough for
That's
Jacob
gonna
to do.
be-
But now he does have the Kaiju
He does have the Gamma
to deal with one of the sticky strings to deal with one of
Yes.
them. And he drew a Gamma Seal.
Yeah, he's got both.
Well, he had
Oh.
yeah.
The Mask of Restrict.
Oh.
So
Wow.
that's going to make it to where Ozzy's board is well established.
Yeah, and I think at this point there's Jacob's.
Jacob's
I could
sitting
do.
here thinking, why didn't I stop? But at the same time, he didn't know what was happening. We didn't even know ourselves that he plays double to Zolkin.
Yeah.
I think Jacob's he's sitting there. Okay.
Now the 3,000 defense of the Gamma Seal is not going to be easy to get over if.
Crystal Wing. Crystal Wing can attack into it. And he'll
that's
gain the
right. That's
attack.
right. That's right.
But he needs to deal with the Magician first, so he doesn't get negated. And keep in mind too, he's also got Tornado.
Well, Crystal Wing is a wind attribute.
It is
isn't
wind.
Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't tell from up here. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
So it's a wind, so he can just deal with the board on hand. So
Especially if he's able to set one more card and summon another.
if
I'm getting a little crazy here, but if he's able to, what is he? Is he
is that
banishing?
BLS?
I
We
can't
can't
see. It's
see.
Chaos Sorcerer BLS, some type of. I think we're about to find out.
We'll find out here in just 1 second.
Yeah.
It's BLS.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Well, he's not
See-
gonna be able to go for game because. Well, no, he'll be able to negate with Crystal Wing, won't he?
Yeah.
He should be able to negate the Magician's effect with Crystal Wing. I'm
So
not sure.
I believe life points are going to be set at 2,000. I
Yes.
believe is what life points are going to be. If the BLS did attack twice,
Which he
because-
should have, because Crystal Wing should have negated the Magician's effect.
Yes.
But now he does have. He drew Bambuku,
he drew Benbuku with a tornado set.
but with the Mask of Restrict.
The Mask of
And he
Restrict.
can't summon any of the Kaijus.
He's got 2 dead cards in hand right now.
Yeah.
All right, now I think Jacob's just gonna proceed to go to game 3.
Yeah, and it's hard to blame him. There's really not much you can do. So, all right.
Will we go into a game 3? None of us expected Mask of Restrict.
And how clutch could that? I mean, even more so than Vanity's Emptiness, because I mean, Vanity's Emptiness also doesn't. It shuts down the tornado that Mask of Restrict does. So that's pretty devastating for Jacob.
I think
but,
Jacob's now kind of considering if he wants to keep the Kaijus in now that he saw Mask of Restrict.
Well,
but I think he wants to keep. I think he needs to take out the Gamma Seals.
Well, here's the thing. I think he should take them out because he's going to go first, and so the Kaijus are not cards you want to have in your opening hand turn 1. So, yeah, that was a turn of events, and I really
that was also one of those scenarios where I think that happens like rarely because it was too set up. Ozzy, we didn't know what his back row was, so it was kind of hard for us to actually be able to say. And I think Jacob's siding out the Tempest.
Looking back, though, like I said, not to be too critical,
Yeah.
but I think that Jacob really should have negated with the Magician, because if you think about it, he had used his normal summon to tribute the Flying Sea. Like I said, he didn't really know the full extent of what Sue could do, but, you got to think, any card like Soul Charge, which you saw him mill, is dead. The Tour Guide is dead because he already uses normal summon at that point. So, really, and especially since Sue is such a low attack compared to Magician, I really think what would the worst that could happen if he negated that there? He would have kept his scales as well.
Yeah, I think that was the deciding play right there. When he chose not to, I think it opened up the door for Ozzy to walk right on in and just cause Jacob a lot more trouble.
Yeah. But like I said, I don't want to harp on it too much and be too critical, because Jacob was more, I'm sure he was thinking, okay, Beatrice, I don't want that to get the effect, as opposed to, oh, wow, Zulkin, especially 2 Zulkins.
Well, here's the thing, too, that we noticed, and I think our viewers at home did as well. We didn't see to Zulkin, so I don't think Jacob knew that he was even running it, if not at multiples.
True. So, that is definitely true.
So I think Jacob was seeing that, his opponent's just going to make the Beatrice.
Yeah.
But from here, we're going into game 3.
Abductor, that's always a good card to open. Oath Dragon, Tornado, Sorcerer, and Pegasus.
Yes, and Ozzy opened a BA monster. I could not tell. All the gold rare looks the same to me.
So this is not a good opening for Jacob.
It depends, because you can Magical Abductor and then bring out the Pegasus.
Well, that's the problem. So he'll only be able to get 2 counters.
He'll get the... does Abductor count for himself?
No. So he'll be able, if he activates Abductor, then Pegasus, and then a scale, that'll leave him with 2 counters. But, he...
And I think he just passed.
Yeah,
Jacob just passed.
Not a good hand.
And he's summoning Tefnut. I think Ozzy's gonna try to OTK here.
Yeah.
And then he's going to use Tefnut's effect.
Yeah.
To bring out Watt Dragon.
Poor Jacob.
I think he's going to make Beatrice here. Unless he makes a Tom. Yep, it's Beatrice.
Beatrice is the right play here.
Beatrice pitched that. Unless Ozzy's got a Soul Charge. And see,
I think Ozzy smells blood in the water, because if he passes and there's clearly no Max C,
he pitched the Fable Monster.
Yeah.
He can send 2 here to bring it back, which can open up so many rank 6 plays. He pitches the Malicious too.
That's pretty rough.
Wow. The fact that he's fixing a special Malicious, he can make the Tzolk'in play here and set. If he has a set card in hand, he can set it, allowing him to bring out a Crystal Wing.
Is the Fabled Monster a tuner?
No, it is not.
Well, you need a tuner and a non-tuner to bring out Zulkin, so I don't know if he'll be able to do that.
He can make another Beatrice.
Well, Beatrice at 1.
Shh. No one has to know that. I mean,
I'm sure Clay the last match was thinking, man, if only I had 2 Beatrice, this would have been over a lot quicker.
Yes, exactly.
So it'd be interesting. What other rank 6s? I mean, does a Tome require two Hieratics or 2 dragons?
I believe it requires 2 dragons.
Yeah.
But from here, for rank 6s,
Utopia, Gauntlet Launcher. What else is there?
Launcher,
Photon, Strike Bouncer, probably the best.
If he runs it.
Of course, we're just speculating at this point.
There's also another one he could make too, and I don't know the requirements, but Ptolemaeus, the Constellar.
Ptolemy M7, right? Yeah, it's just generic.
So he could make that and
return a card. Yeah, that could be gross. That could be really devastating.
Which I think he's going to do. he's looking at his extra deck right now, and this is just us speculating.
Because Oscar clearly has created a deck that's very unique, very creative.
So here comes
yeah,
the,
you called it.
M7.
You called it.
And he's going to pitch the Fabled monster so he can bring it back. He's going to return the Watt Dragon, and then he's going to send it with the Tefnuit to bring it out.
Interesting that he didn't detach the malicious.
Um,
Maybe he's only played.
so 25, 27, and
52.
no, he brought back the Fable Tuner. So
He
it's
did.
at 25. And then he's going to go Barbar for game.
Wow.
Wow. So Austin.
And then Jacob shows his hand and is like, "What was I supposed to do?" You know? Like,
Yeah.
what?
But
That is unfortunate for
that's just
Jacob.
the uniqueness you see here at the Crimson Castle. We'll be right back after these words from our sponsors and our advertisement. So please stick around for the last round of our locals. Thank you. welcome back to the last round. We have two of our former live streamers tonight. Ozzy, what you just saw an exciting match last round, and Clay, who was our round 2 feature match. So we'll be having BA Hieratics versus PK Fire. And I think Clay was watching this match. I think he finished a little early, so I think Clay will have a little advantage. But let's see.
Strong opening for Clay if he's going first. The warning, the Terror Top. And
He is.
Foolish, or Allure, excuse me.
So you see the Terror Top's going to probably go for the taco board here. Just like what we've seen before. He's gonna make the Dante play, and he's going to build
Plus
3.
with Scar being able to pitch that to make Beatrice, that's very, very strong.
For a opening turn, yes. Now, this is the first time I think these two have played in a long while. So it's going to be really good to see if they both can really show their better plays, because I know the camera can really determine how people play.
Gloves. Was that gloves, boots, and twisters?
Yes, twin twisters.
He'll get a fog blade too. That's foolish. Foolish burial as well. It's very strong.
So he's going to get both of those out of there and grab the swords. Or the blades, excuse me.
I'll also make his. Wait, what did he grab? The cloak. He sent cloak.
Sent cloak.
That's right.
And then he's going to banish the cloak. To grab the boots.
Is he gonna use that to dig with a? Is his allure target to dig more into his deck?
He could. I also see the Scarm in hand, so he's probably going to. And he
Yeah,
drew
right.
a Lich and a Lure.
Might banish the Alec here.
Oh
no, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh, we got another allure. Never mind.
Double Calcab, so
He's
one of those is gone. So a lot of deck thinning here. It's a really good strong play for Clay. Here, he could foolish one of the BA monsters, I presume. Unless he wants to dig for Cloak.
Probably hit Graph here to summon Seer, and then you can.
Does he have a BA reveal Calcab to special bring out a second
yes.
Dante?
Yes, or Alec. Alec might be the better option, just to offer more disruption.
He's gonna bring out
Farfa. Yeah.
So I guess Clay wants to keep the Seer still in the deck for a mill. He wants to keep Farfa underneath, so here he's normal summon the Scarm. Forgot he had normal summon because of the Terratops.
I will say that I'm surprised he didn't hold the... Because, I mean, Scarm's going to hit the graveyard either way. I'm surprised he didn't... Oh, wow.
He milled one and hit the Tor
that's
guy.
Unfortunate.
He's going to go ahead and pitch the Lich to bring out Beatrice.
Yeah, I guess it really doesn't matter all that much, but...
Ozzy's hand's still pretty good, though. He's got a few of the hieratic monsters. I think he's got a BA
He's
and
to do
a
with a
spell.
Fog Blade and this warning.
Yes.
What else does he have in hand? He has
a Calcab, a Seer as of right
now. He pitched the Calcab to me.
No, he's got Calcab in hand. He pitched the Lich.
Right. So he's got a Boots, a Seer, and a... He banished the Boots, excuse me.
He banished the Boots. Here comes the Allure.
Yeah.
I believe that's the Fabled monster and something else. And he pitches... Okay, so he banishes the Scarm off the Allure. I figured it was a BA monster in his hand, but he's also got the hieratic search card. So that's going to be really... it's going to help him get to Tefnuit, I believe. Yes. Beatrice is still alive as well. So here I believe he can special summon the Tefnuit and then bring out Sue. Yeah. So that's really going to make sure...
Of course, he's got to play through a Beatrice, a Fogblade, and a Solemn Warning too, and he does not know about the warning. So it'll be interesting to see how Oscar proceeds with this.
He's going to go ahead and do the...
immediately going with the Beatrice.
And send the Farfa. I think that would be the correct play here. Does Clay have another... I think he just sent Barbar. Or no, Delta Farfa, excuse me.
Well, he detached the Farfa, so he probably wouldn't send another one, would he? I think it was Barbar.
Oh, no. Okay.
I think you were right.
But I just didn't see him banished for the effect. So that's
he detached the Farfa underneath the Beatrice.
Okay. So he didn't use Barbar's effect. So he's going to normal
And
this
there's
tour guide.
Probably
So here,
Fog-bladed?
Yeah, so here comes Fogblade.
Yeah.
Which he wants to hang on to the warning.
Absolutely, because that's the card that is the unknown. So
yeah. He wants to go ahead and make sure all of the non-unknowns are used. And see here, Ozzy's not in a good place. he's kind of stuck right here because he's special than normal, and he doesn't have another special summon monster that can gain the effect.
He does not have Soul Charge.
Well, it wouldn't matter because they're both all of his monsters are banned.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Because the Tefnuit's coming back.
It's weird because I saw the two monsters and it looked like I'm just staggered. I forgot the Scarf.
Oh, Clay sent a Skarm because he's adding Libic to hand.
Right.
So that's
the Libic will more than likely be summoned, and that'll let. Yeah.
He's checking on Tefnuit's effect. And then from here, he's going to draw for turn, and it's a Cloak. So, Clay's got tons of options right here.
Absolutely.
If he really wanted to, he could use Dante first to mill 3 just to see what he's dealing with. He may pitch another Farfa off of this. But at the same time, he can also... yeah, that's what he's going to do. He's going to proceed to use Dante.
Fogblade, Twin Twisters, and what is that?
A Farfa, I believe. I may be wrong. It was a Skarm? A Farfa. It was a Farfa, excuse me. So he's going to choose to banish the Tef.
So now he can set up for a Break Sword play.
Correct. Which, I mean, what we've seen so far tonight, Clay's been opening up really well.
Yeah, absolutely.
His round 2 match, you didn't quite see the more explosive hands at first. But when we got into game 2, he had what he needed to get over Brandon Pittman.
No, it was Jacob. He was,
no.
Clay lost game 2 to Fluffles when he opened up
yeah,
traps.
it was against Devin, yes.
Yeah.
But excuse me, this was game 1 board.
Yeah.
It was just really, really good.
And of course, game 3 with the Terratop Tour Guide.
Allure.
Yeah, and here, I mean, but this is what PK Fire does. I mean, they're a very consistent deck. You're going to be able to get a Fogblade plus a Dante or Beatrice almost every single hand. So, but the warning or the Tour Guide is just icing on the cake here. So,
and here I believe he's going to make he's either going to make a Dante or he's going to make the Break Sword.
Probably make a Breaks. Well,
it looks like he's going for Break Sword.
Yeah, it makes sense here. Hit the dead Fogblade.
Now with
or he can hit himself, I guess, if he wants to go for
the rank 4 play.
Oh, because if he does that, it's gonna be game with Barbar because it's gonna be 25, 25, 25.
And that's a Dark Rebellion Dragon.
Yeah.
And I believe he's actually got Seer.
Has he normal summoned?
No,
because he summoned the.
I don't.
Yeah, because he normal summoned the Cloak, I believe.
He either normal summoned the Cloak or he normal. Okay, so he's gonna swing for 75.
Because I was gonna say if he found a way to get that Libic engrave, he could summon another Burning Abyss from his hand to go for the kill.
And see, there's no way he can get to Barbar at the moment. So really, Ozzy's not looking good, but he's not out of the picture yet.
But with the
face down warning that is unknown, which I think Clay's just going to use right now.
Yeah, there's no reason not to.
And he's going to trigger Tefnuit's effect. So let's get life points straightened out here. So Clay's at 6,000 to Ozzy's 500, which he's going to bring out the Labyrinth Dragon.
Is it 2,400 defense?
I believe
right?
so.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be that big of an issue because he can run it over with the Dark Rebellion.
That's the one thing I was curious is if it had 25, but it is 2,400. So.
And then I wonder if
what kind of follow-up play does Ozzy?
I think Ozzy's got BLS in hand.
Does he can?
He has a Tour Guide engrave, so I think he's contemplating whether to try to bring it out now. I mean, right now he's got no other options unless he just wants to give this game up, which no player wants to do.
Does he know how many Farfas that Clay has used? If he's used all of his Farfas, it wouldn't be the worst idea in the world to put
Farfa,
because if he puts that BLS in defense mode and banishes the rebellion, then he can kind of stall for a little bit. But I think
he's going to bring out he brought out the BLS, but I think you're correct. If he would have brought out in defense mode...
Because now Beatrice can just crash, get out a Virgil or a Pilgrim, and be able to deal with the BLS.
Unless he tries to double attack with the BLS. Which it's not going to matter at this point. I think you're correct. If he would have set... Here comes Farfa, so I believe we're fixing to be heading into game 2. But like you were saying, I do agree. BLS in defense mode, banish, and then just...
What is...
he's tributing it for the... Oh, okay. I see what he's doing.
Ah,
He's gonna
it's making
overlay
Beatrice of his
to
own?
Beatrice of his own.
right. That makes sense.
I
I'm surprised Clay didn't get back Barbar,
he what did he end up grabbing?
a Farfa. Oh, well, did he banish Barbar?
I cannot.
Because I could have sworn at one. No, he never sent it. That's right, because he sent the
Yes.
Scarm.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say that if he just grabs like Barbar, normal summons it.
And right now, I think Ozzy's just gonna wall up here.
Yeah,
Um,
but
unless he's got another way to bring out the Fable card.
I think though that it's not well.
And if he brings out the Fable card, he can make the Ptolemaeus or not Ptolemaeus.
Zulkin.
Yeah, no. The whatchamacallit.
Ptolemy himself.
Yeah, M7.
That's right. Yeah, I keep forgetting that Fable's not it's not the tuner.
Yes. It's the Watt Dragon, I think, or the Labrite.
The Labradite. I think it's the yeah. The Labradite's the tuner.
Yes. I think here he's just gonna make the M7.
Yeah. Or oh no,
Ooh, that's the new number monster
from
that just
the
came out.
was it Dragons of Legend Unleashed?
Yes.
And Clay's having to look that up right now. It's number 24, I believe.
I actually thought it was 21, but you may be right. Yeah, it's gonna be 24. Dragulus the Vampiric Dragon. His ability is once per turn, during either player's turn, you can detach one XYZ material from this card, then target one face-up monster on the field that was special summoned from the extra deck. You change it to face-down defense position. If this face-up card in its owner's control is sent to the graveyard or banished by your opponent's card effect. So this is actually going to be really good if Clay tries to Farfa. You can special summon this card in face-down defense position. If this card is flipped face-up, you can send one card from your on the field to the graveyard. So it's a really good card right now for Ozzy.
Oh, but I see what Clay's just gonna normal summon the Graph, summon the Barbar from the deck.
Yes. Yep, here comes Barbar.
But it won't matter because
Clay just has to banish Barbar and Graph, and that's going to deal the damage done for game one.
because I was thinking that had Oscar chained Beatrice's effect to the summon of Graph, he could have sent something like a Farfa, and that way he would have prevented Barbar, but he would have just died during the end phase, so it really wouldn't have made a difference. So
Well, there goes round one or game one of our match of the last round. Going off topic here, just to give us a little break from our locals. As the format progresses, with all the new stuff coming out, Invasion of Vengeance is coming out at the end of the month. We're also getting the structure decks for ABC. With Invasion of Vengeance fixing to make our impact in the TCG, what do you feel like is going to be some of the decks that are going to be more seen, and what decks do you think are going to start drifting away from our meta?
obviously ABC is the big one.
It's going to be.
That's the main one that everyone's getting ready for.
I'm getting ready for it.
Yeah, same here. And I think Metal Foes are really still going to be relevant because their new support is just absolutely fantastic.
They get the quick play spell, I believe,
Yes.
and they get another monster, fusion monster.
Yes,
and
which is sort of
also-
like a relinquish, if I remember correctly.
Yes, and also not a lot of players are talking about it, but it's probably one of the better decks in the OCG right now. It's Tree Toad Heroes.
Yes.
A lot of players that I've seen online and some people here have talked about and started testing. I think it won an OCG tournament over like a 280 person tournament over there. And I'm kind of curious to see if it's going to do anything over here.
I really think it will because, I mean, if you've been noticing certain prices on TCG Play or other sites, 10 Goldfish is really spiked up for
Yes.
a reason. And, I mean, clearly, if you guys don't know how to bring out Tree Toad, you can use something like Elder Entity Norden or 10 Goldfish and Bubble Man to bring out Bahamut Shark. And Bahamut Shark allows you to special summon a rank 3 or lower?
Yes.
Rank 3 or lower from your extra deck. And so that'll bring out Tree Toad. So basically, it's kind of like having to deal with, because heroes obviously are great at bringing out Dark Law. So you're going to have to deal with Dark Law, a Bahamut Shark, and a Tree Toad. So you kind of have to take your pick. What do I get rid of? Because if I don't kill the Bahamut Shark, out comes the Tree Toad. If I get rid of the Tree Toad, well, I've still got to deal with Dark Law. So it's a very tough board for lots of decks to deal with. So I think it will be pretty relevant.
And not to mention, I've seen some boards that have the Trap Tricks monster, Rafflesia.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
that by itself is, and you have to open Perfect to get that board. 'Cause
Absolutely.
I think you have to open Soul Charge along with it.
I really think, speaking of a, sorry, go ahead. Let me
No,
cut you off.
it's just you would have to have a hero lives to go along with it as well on that opening hand. But like you were saying, um, as we're getting ready for game two, the Bahamut Shark play is going to be really good as well, and I see Bahamut Shark going up in price, but
It has
only
the
the
secret.
secrets.
Well,
Only the
I
secrets.
tell you, the gold rares are still $4 somewhere. I mean, considering it's a gold rare reprint, it's increasing in value. But
as we're starting game
Terratop
two,
once again, right off
Clay
the top.
opens the Terratops, and
Goodness great! You saw Ghost
Ghost
Reaper in
Reaper.
there. Not surprising. Not surprising.
and still going on the next format. Ghost Reaper's going to be a good card in the ABC mirror match.
Another is Kaijus. I feel like that's going to be running rampant and side decks everywhere. And I feel like some people will main it just to kind of catch their opponents off guard. You got to deal with, like I mentioned, Trito, Dark Law, ABC, Crystal Wing when DDDs eventually come out. So
And DDDs too, and that's speaking way beforehand.
but-
and that's
oh, the-
double boots.
and a warning though that is unfortunate. But like double boots, getting to the Fogblade and Beatrice turn one. That's
It's
pretty
going to
strong.
be. That's going to be. I want to know how Ozzy responds to this because I want to know if he has a way now to get over the Fog Blade. Because I notice a lot of the games, Fog Blade's been causing a lot of issues.
Yeah.
It caused Devin some issues in his game in his round two when his dog, his Fluffle dog, got Fog Blade.
Is that an allure in his hand as well?
Yes.
Yes, that's why. Yeah, cutting to make. He's about to draw some cards.
Yes.
And Clay, wow, a fog blade and a strike. That is incredible.
And he pitches to Libic.
So he's gonna have to deal with a fog blade, two fog blades, a strike.
He
a
could.
Beatrice.
He could normal the Storm,
Wow.
special the Farfa, overlay, make another Dante.
I guess he doesn't want to go for. I don't know. I kind of would like to go for. If I were him, I'd probably made a Beatrice here. But I guess he's thinking with unless he has another BA in hand that I missed. Did he mill Tour Guide again?
I don't think so.
He
It looks-
looked frustrated. So
it looks
I was
a lot-
curious. Or no, he didn't.
Yeah.
I just saw Clay's reaction, so I figured it'd be a negative one. But
It's just the. I think Clay's in a really strong position right
Absolutely.
here. I don't think even if Tour Guide
a
did
Dinko
get
Seka
milled,
would be pretty darn helpful. But I'm not sure. I don't know if he sides Dinko Seka, but that would probably be the best. No, Tour Guide.
but here comes it's gonna be
Fogblade.
Fogblade. That's
Now-
why I was hoping Ozzy may have sided Twin Twister here.
Yeah, and we'll see. I know. I saw him drop a green card, and I thought that was a Twin Twister, but unfortunately,
But I mean, even still, if Clay would have hit the Tour Guide off of the mill one, it still wouldn't have been the worst thing ever.
no, of course not. I mean, with the board he's got, Ozzy's
The
already
fact that it's a double Dante board, it could have been a whole lot worse.
yeah, needless to say.
If Clay really wanted to push it, he could have had a Beatrice Dante with just two set. Because I believe you can discard any card, or does
No, it has to be a Burning Abyss.
Okay, so he wouldn't have had the double.
Well, yeah, that's why I was thinking just Beatrice versus Double Dante. But at this point, especially with the draws, I'm not 100% sure how much it matters with having two Fog Blades and a strike. Excuse me.
Yeah, because it's not looking good for Ozzy, but I think Ozzy has a Regeki in hand.
Oh, that would be wonderful. And see, that was kind of my reasoning for the Beatrice, is it helps deal with that. But we'll see how much.
But he's going to farf. But the question is, would you farf the Tour Guide here?
I say yes because it gets rid of the tribute fodder. Well, he's already normal summoned. So.
Yes, he's normal summoned. And I think he should. I think he should. And I'll tell you why on this one. Because his hieratic monsters, I believe they special summon if he
Wait,
controls
control
them.
no monsters. Okay.
But I'm not sure if he has to control any. But his
I don't think
Dante,
so.
his Dante's allowed him to bring back Skarm and Farfa, and I believe.
To reload his hand.
But Clay's letting Tour Guide stay. So I think that is the case.
Because I think honestly, like Clay's thinking that I want to have that Fogblade to pop with Break Sword.
Yes, and I believe here he's just going to end his turn.
What's that set card?
I could.
What are the chances of Oscar siding Royal Decree?
It's possible, but I still think Clay still has his weather.
Oh yeah, of course. I was just wondering what that set card could be to possibly.
I think it's a bluff. In all honesty, not doubting.
Clearly not emptiness.
Yeah,
Clearly
I mean-
not warning.
Yeah, I mean, no doubting Ozzy, and no way. But I don't think it go. Ooh, double Ghost Reaper. And now if I was Clay, I'd use Farfa.
Yeah, there's no reason not to here.
Just he's going to try to push for game here. and if not, exact game. And I think he just pitched to Sear.
Pitched to Farfa.
Farfa.
The Sear was milled.
Oh, and here's his face down card. XYZ Encore.
Oh.
You haven't seen that card in a long time. And here, I think he's going to bring back the Dante.
Where is he?
Oh gosh, that's going to be interesting.
No, is he?
Because the XYZ Encores, you had to bring back the monsters that you were used to bring out Dante. I believe. So with that, would it just bring out the Dante? Because the monsters aren't engraved anymore. So he's going to take 35 off of this.
Yeah.
I think that's what they've come to the conclusion of. I was about to put the wrong life points in. So
down
55.
30, yeah.
No, he takes 35, so he's at 45.
Yeah.
So from here,
He does get the tour guide back,
he does.
but I'm not sure. That probably hinders him because he's not going to be able to summon his Burning Abyss monsters without them getting destroyed.
Well,
But it does give him tribute fodder, so
I think that's really what he's working on here. He gets his tour guide back and he draws. He's got a soul charge in hand too. I want you to keep this in mind. You saw this in game. You saw him in last match where the soul charge really came into play, and all he needed was 2,000 life points.
But with a fog blade and a strike, we'll have to see how Clay plays his traps. But I'm not really sure.
I think it looks like the spell in his hand is a lure.
Because does he have any monsters in graveyard at this point? I don't think he does.
He does not.
So the soul charge is irrelevant at this point.
But it also depends too if that card in his hand is a lure or a twin twister.
Yeah, if that's a twin twister, we're talking about a different ball game here. But let's let it play out.
It's a twin twister.
It is twin twister.
And he pitches Farfa.
Ooh,
That's
okay.
a good. And then he's going to use Farfa to probably get rid of the Dante with material.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
So here, if I was Ozzy, I think
can we see what else is in this? He's got 2 cards in hand. One's a soul charge.
one's a soul charge, another one I think it's a BA monster. So it's not going to do that much because the BA monster would die.
Depending on if it's a Seer or a Graph, I'd probably set it at this point. I don't think there's really much of a reason not to.
And he drew Cloak. Really, if you set the BA monster, it'll die. I believe is how it's ruled.
No, if it's a face down, then it'll remain on the field face down. It just makes Beatrice here, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, and then use Graph's ability to
Summon a Libic, more than likely. Or
Graph,
could just summon a. Well,
Graph could bring out. I don't know here.
I'd say.
He could.
What's
bring out,
Torguy's defense?
under 1,000.
Okay. So Dante will be able to run over it.
Yes, Dante will run it over. I think he sent a storm. From what the camera angle is allowing us to see, and see any BA monster he brings out is going to die. So like if he summons like that Graph in his hand, but from here it's going to be Cloak, Attack, Tour Guide, takes 35, so he's going to be left at 1,000.
But he is out of Barbar range, but that soul charge is sitting there, not looking pretty.
Yeah, his hand right now is kind of dead in the water.
So what could Oscar possibly draw to get him out of the situation?
And Clay's getting ready to possibly make Virgil, or he could be getting ready just to find a way to make another rank 3 play next turn.
Yeah.
But from here, Ozzy, if he has any monster removal, like Dark Hole, we've already seen the Regeki, but it wouldn't put it past us to have a Dark Hole. But other than that, I don't quite know.
Was that Sue in hand or Tef?
Tef. Yeah. It's a Tef Nuit. So that's probably the reason why he didn't want to tribute the tour guide for the Tef.
Yeah.
Last turn. So he's going to special the Tef. He's going to set a monster. And he's going to end his turn. So I believe what's going to happen here
he's
is...
He's going to Farfa.
He could Cloak.
Or Cloak, yeah.
I was fixing to say...
so now he can make a Break Sword.
Yeah, he's going to make the Break Sword, probably pop the set.
Probably. I'd feel more comfortable with Farfa. Well, I don't know why I said Farfa, because Farfa just turned the field, but I feel more comfortable Farfa, the set, because it could be something like a Graph or a Seer, it could be like a Farfa or something.
That is true, but
like I said, I'm not sure how much it really matters at the end of the day, but
yeah. I mean, this this game's pretty much under wraps here. We're just waiting for the conclusion of it.
He's just make Nightmare Shark at this point.
That's actually what he's just
Yeah.
going to do. He's just going to make Nightmare Shark and not even worry about his board.
Yeah.
He's just going to go from there, and that's our winner for the night. Clay with PK Fire. Just for a little information for y'all as we end the stream tonight. Regionals, Tuscaloosa, Alabama will be at 8:30 is when our doors open at the Bobby Miller Center. All the information is located on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card.com under regionals or localized play. Tournament will start at 10. Deck list, $20 entry fee. You'll get 5 packs of the Dark Illusions. And we'll hopefully be doing a lot more live streaming. We won't be doing it for the regionals, but we plan on doing it for our more competitive Thursday and Saturday tournaments. As always, we're wrapping it up here. Thank y'all for any viewers that we have got, and hopefully we'll see y'all at the regionals.